Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, stunners. Thank you all for being here. Why don't we go ahead and get started with today's story? And we're starting a new game. Alright, this character's name is Nora, but today her name is Rue, Jitteroo. Last name is Jitteroo. And now the story begins. Rue, Jitteroo. I love that. When I was little, I dreamed of being carried away to a far-off land. It was a recurring dream of flying through the air, surrounded by softly singing voices. Back then, I read book after book of old fairy tales in my grandmother's study, the kind where good children didn't always make it out of the dark swamp unscathed, and sometimes the goblins won. During the day, I would run through the forest by our house and pretend the stories were real. Every tree was a sentinel watching over me, and rustling leaves were the sweet whispers of fairies coaxing me further and further from the house. Then it all crumbled. The trees and games had to be left behind. Books were left to gather dust on the shelves, and dreams were left to fade into memory. Years passed, and all that remained were the distant games and pretend play of childhood. Back then, I didn't know that real fairy tales were darker than anything I could possibly have dreamed up on my own. And we commence with chapter 1. Hi, Ash. Y'all, listen up. Okay. Ashberry is a dev stunner and also the dev of Changeling right here. Yes, thank you for being here, Ashberry. We had nearly reached the new house. I was eager to get out of this cramped car and see the new place. The long road trip wasn't agreeing with me, but I couldn't complain too much. After 5 years in a city I hated, we were finally moving back to Pine Hollow, the place where I grew up. That alone was enough to keep my sanity intact during the tense trip back. Unfortunately, the reason behind the move wasn't fantastic. Grandpa was ill again, and this time was under strict orders to take it easy. Since he had to avoid stress, he needed Dad's help with his business. Of course, he didn't think so. But Grandma was adamant to get help or retire. See, Grandma's looking out. Grandma is looking out for the fam. So we were on our way back so Dad could take over. In theory, anyway. Not that Grandpa would let him. In any case, Dad wasn't too happy about leaving his current job or our house in the city behind, much less moving back across state lines to our previous home. I was, though. I missed Grandma and Grandpa. I missed the trees and the looming embrace of the mountains that made Pine Hollow feel enclosed and protected. I missed my best friend. What I wouldn't miss was the stifling humidity of this city, the constant smell of hot rubber and car exhaust, not to mention the lack of stars, and the way rain made everything smell like rust instead of warm earth. Well, it wasn't all terrible. The parks were pretty, and being near to the water had been fun. School hadn't been awful. I was hardly the loner girl, skulking in the corners. I'd had friends, and I would miss them. But Allie wasn't just a friend. She was practically family. No one in the city could compare with that. Real. And the city had never felt like home. Good night, Vicky. I hope you have a good rest, and thank you for being here and saying hello. I smiled slightly at the scenery, but beyond the car windows became more and more familiar. My tiredness faded into excitement. This is the new house. This new house isn't that far from the old one, is it? They're only a few miles apart. This one's in a different neighborhood, though. Lots of trees, very wooded. I think you two will really like it after we get settled in. Dad said that, but from the look on Spencer's face, I didn't think it was true. Not for him, anyway. Yeah, real, Milky. Real Spencer's a total pill. Spencer has to have a snotty nerd voice, okay? Dad pointed to a small forested mountain a few miles ahead. The neighborhood is nestled right at the foot there and winds up the slope. It feels rural, but it's within walking distance of the town square. I was glad that it didn't look like much development had happened in the years we'd been gone. In fact, it didn't look like much had changed at all. So much forest, I almost forgot what it was like. Looks easy to get lost in. I gave him a sharp look and found him staring at me in that disquieting way he'd picked up over the last few years. He was already trying to start a fight about that. I quickly looked away, unwilling to give him the satisfaction. Real. Another thing I missed was me and Spencer being close. Like everyone seemed to think twins ought to be, but I didn't think that just moving back to Pine Hollow is going to fix that, though. Not with jabs like that aimed at me. Let it go already. Imagine if every time he says something bratty, Nora just elbows him straight to the face. Exactly, he deserves that. I wish we could just elbow him straight to the face. No one is going to get lost. And I want you both to give me your word you'll be careful in the forest. I don't want you to have to ban you from hiking. Okay, I want you to have a life outside, and if I have to ban you from hiking, it's going to be upsetting. Exactly, Mom, I get you. Now Mom was starting too. I slumped back in the seat, watching the kaleidoscope of fall colors slide past. I had expected that issue to be brought up now that we were moving back, but I hadn't expected to start getting lectured before we even reached the new house. The realtor said there are trails. But you know what that probably means, animal trails, not actual hiking trails. It can be dangerous if you aren't careful. Okay, listen, children and husband, okay? If you're not careful, you might get eaten by a bear or worse, all right? I'm just trying to keep you all safe, but no one in this household listens to me, okay? How dare none of you ever listen to Mom? I'm doing my best here and nobody's helping me. Real, Mom, I totally get you. Totally. We're not little kids anymore, Mom. There are lots of coyotes here, and cougars, even bears. There's also a pretty deep ravine in the woods behind the house, from what I understand. We just want to make sure everyone stays safe. Now that we're back, we don't want any drama, okay? Just listen to Mom and everything will be fine. Jeez, it's been 5 years. I couldn't entirely blame everyone for their uneasiness about the whole thing. The disappearance 5 years ago. My disappearance 5 years ago was the reason we moved in the first place. Not just the disappearance itself, though I'd been gone for more than a week, and that had definitely caused some drama. But there was the issue of how I just showed back up, and the other things that happened around that time. Real. 5 years later, and my family was still shadowed by the repercussions of what had happened back then. Of course, I wanted them to move on. Everything back then had been my fault. Not just the drama the family had endured as a whole, but also what had happened to Spencer. Those weren't wounds that could just heal overnight. Not the emotional ones, not the physical ones, and definitely not the one inflicted on our relationship. And no amount of apologizing had ever helped. Dad turned onto a quiet street that wound its way up into the trees. A few rooftops poked through the foliage. It was a great neighborhood that reminded me a little of where we'd lived before. The sweetness of nostalgia helped wash away some of the lingering bitterness from the previous conversation. I loved the place from the moment we turned onto the street and passed over a trickling creek that vanished into the woods. Y'all, I love how beautifully this is written. It's so gorgeous. It's so stunning. It's so descriptive. I feel like I can see the woods. I feel like I can taste the air and feel the wind on my face as we're driving along in the car. Down at the foot of the mountain, and within walking distance of the house, was the main street of the town, filled with little shops and restaurants, but the neighborhood, hidden behind a thick wall of trees and curled around the mountainside, felt secluded and quiet. How magical of a place is this? It was beautiful and perfect. Rue, go check the boxes up in your room and make sure they put the right ones there, okay? The movers, sometimes they make mistakes. I'll let you unpack your things first. And then I want you downstairs to help in the kitchen, okay? Listen, all right? Stop messing around and go take care of things, and then you can play, okay? You have to get your chores done first before you go running amok in the woods, all right? Oh, and remember what I said earlier, okay? You need to be careful because I don't want any drama happening in the forest, and heaven forbid anything happen to you ever again. Real, Mom, I feel you. Spencer, same for you. Movers had already arranged most of the furniture in the house under Grandma's supervision, but the boxes with the smaller items and personal belongings still needed unpacking. Since she had to take care of Grandma, and since she had to take care of Grandpa, Grandma couldn't do much more than tell them where to put the furniture and try to get the basics set up for this. We still had a ton of work to do. Real girl, like moving is always a lot of work. Every time. Mom immediately busied herself trying to hang curtains and make the house look lived in. Dad started ripping into the boxes in the family room. Spencer vanished upstairs. I left Mom in the kitchen and went to take a look at the rest of the downstairs. I do too, Milky. I hate moving as well. I like when I'm moved and the process is done, but the process of moving is a big pain in the butt. This house is really great. I'm glad you like it, honey. It wasn't new, but it had been renovated inside. It looked modern and new, but still felt old and full of memories and someone else's history. I love it already. My bedroom was right next to Spencer's. The only thing separating them was a small shared bathroom. That was going to be so much fun. It sucks sharing a bathroom with your siblings, real. Especially one like Spencer, okay? Because Spencer's always tripping and stuff. He tended to act like any intrusion into his personal space was a huge affront. So I had to walk on eggshells if I didn't want to fight with him. What a drama king, real. I could only begin to imagine his whining about having to share counter space with all my icky girl things, like a hairbrush and hand lotion. The horror! How horrible you have to share with your sister. That aside, my room was pretty nice. I also like the colors, y'all, of the room. The blue, it's very nice. It has a coastal vibe. I like it a lot. Let's take a look. Let's take a deeper look at it. Oh, it's so cute. I love this room. Milky would like this room too, because it's got like that blue appeal, you know? It has a vintagey look to it. I bet this is an older home that's been there for a really long time, but they keep it updated so it's comfortable and livable. Real. And I love seeing my things already put exactly where I'd have put them anyway. Yeah, I love it too. Looks like Grandma even got my bed ready. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, Grandma. All I had to do was unpack the rest of my personal stuff. I started with my school things, pulling the tape off one box to get at what was inside. Suddenly, the door to my side of the bathroom burst open. Spencer stalked in, dropping a dusty box on my clean bedspread. He could have at least knocked. Real. They gave me one of yours. Don't pick a fight. Just stay calm. Breathe. Jesus, take the wheel. Ashbury, I would look up rooms from actual houses for sale in the neighborhood this is based on and model the rooms after the real estate pictures. You did? Did you do that? That's amazing. You know what? It totally looks like that. The posing and everything. I see that. What a smart thing to do. I moved the box to the floor without saying anything. Spencer started to leave. Hang on. Let me make sure I don't have any of yours. Hopefully, he didn't make a habit of bursting in. Being my twin brother didn't mean he got to invade my privacy whenever he wanted, especially since he'd have an aneurysm if I had slammed into his room that way. Listen, okay? If you can't take it, don't dish it, okay? Spencer! I quickly sorted through the boxes to see if any of his were lurking in my room. Sure enough, I found one with his name clearly scrawled on the top. Here, I think this one has some of your clothes. I nudged the box toward him with my foot. He scowled at me before picking it up and stalking back to his room. The door on his side of the bathroom slammed shut. How rude. How dare you treat me like that? You should be polite to me, okay? Exactly, Milky. Only dish what you can take. Yeah, you're welcome. It felt like every interaction with him was like that lately. It was worse than ever, actually. But then, he wasn't likely to forget his negative memories of Pine Hollow so soon, and I was pretty sure he was just annoyed by the fact I was happy to be back, which meant taking it out on me, of course. He'd never loved this place the way I had anyway, so he wasn't really inclined to overlook the bad memories in the first place. I sighed and continued pulling things out of boxes. Patience. Patience. It was just hard to have all this stuff stirred up again. I mean, even if I accepted responsibility for what happened back then, I didn't think it meant I also had to sentence myself to guilt and misery forever. I know, real girl. Not for something that had happened when I was 12, something I couldn't even remember. It wasn't your fault, girl. It's never Rue's fault, and by extension, it's not your fault. I left my boxes on the floor and went to peer out the window. I pressed my head against the glass, watching the trees sway slightly in the fall breeze. It was probably stupid to say I felt more complete in this town. At a glance, it looked like dozens of others you could find scattered throughout the area. It was beautiful and sunny sometimes, and others, it was really eerie. Because it's an old neighborhood, you know what I mean? You know, it's the kind of neighborhood that people tell ghost stories about. Real. I wonder if this house has any ghost stories. I wonder if this house is old enough to where it could be haunted, you know? There were days when the clouds hung low over the mountains. The fog was super thick through the trees, and you could almost imagine it was haunted. I fully believe it is haunted. I'm just going to put that out there right now, okay? I have no doubt that this entire neighborhood is haunted AF. The truth was that I felt I'd lost something in this place 5 years ago. Maybe I was only happy to be here because I felt that now I had the chance to get it back. I left the window and went back to unpacking before Mom started yelling at me to come join the battle of the unbubble wrapping in the kitchen. Your work is haunted. Ooh, do you like that or do you hate that, Milky? Could be one or the other, you know. Some people like ghosts. Not me. Definitely not me. Haunted by what? What do you mean, Ashberry? Can you be haunted by something other than ghosts? What are you saying? Now I'm concerned. Okay. In any case, I was being annoyingly sentimental. Pine Hollow is special to me. Maybe, but it wasn't special in general. It was one of those little towns with more urban legends than any reasonable person could count. Hundreds of stories about creepy happenings in the woods. See, I told you this place was haunted. I knew it! And for every one of them, no matter how unlikely, there were dozens of people willing to believe it. There's way worse things than ghosts. Wow. Wow! I'm trying to imagine what that could possibly be. That's probably why people were so quick to leap on the oddities of my disappearances. They weren't really that odd. At least, I didn't think so. The rational public wrote them off as strange but explainable. And I got lost, then unlost. Big deal. Real, girl. Real. Hold on a second. I have to adjust my hair. It's like... It's like doing crazy things. Crazy things. Just like a ghost in the woods, trying to haunt me and scare me. Ooh. I wrote a song one time that my friends told me that sounded like ghosts in the wind. I should play it one day. There we go, y'all. Alright, the hair situation is taken care of mostly. You know, it is what it is. Though, to be fair, the first time it happened, I was 9. And when I got unlost, I was also unhurt. Even after 10 days in the woods alone. Poor girl. I feel so bad for MC. It was definitely lucky I got home safely. It wasn't supernatural. Not like some people apparently insisted. Girl, I still assert it could have been aliens, okay? It could have been. This is a supernatural type of a game. Milky, something keeps knocking some glasses off the walls. At your job, we can see it on the security cameras. It happens at 6 a.m. It happened, wait, are people even there? You said it happens on the security cameras. So are people even in the office? They're just seeing it on the feed, on the security feed. That means there's no one there to actually be close enough to knock over glasses. That's totally haunted. 100%. No one is there? It's haunted. That's ghosts. That's 100% ghosts. 100%. There's no other explanation for that. Seriously, none. It was just the amnesia that caught people off guard, I think. I couldn't remember a thing that happened while I was missing. I still couldn't. Y'all, it's magical amnesia, our favorite trope. And listen, okay, y'all? Listen, okay? Here's my thoughts on magical amnesia. Actually, I have no thoughts on magical amnesia yet, but I do want to do a discussion video sometime about amnesia in Otome games and visual novels, because it's a really nice way to bring the character, the reader, into a story in which they have no context. You know, magical amnesia, MC has no context either. Anyways, Eshberry says, there was a lab once where things like that were happening, and where they'd see shadows out of the corners of their eyes. But being nerds, they investigated. What? And realized that some of the equipment was producing really, really low sound waves, lower than the human register. That's totally ghost, 100%. There's no other explanation for that. It was actually vibrating things off of tables. It was so strong it was causing their eyes to vibrate, which is why they were seeing things. Oh my gosh. Wow, it is cool they figured that out. What? I think it was ghosts. I don't think it can just be equipment. How could it just be equipment? Anyways, I guess there is a rational explanation for most things, but I assert ghosts, okay? That's my reasoning. But psychogenic amnesia was a thing. What kid would want to remember being terrified in the woods for a week and a half? Yeah, a whole week and a half. Oh, thank you for redeeming drink actual water, Roxy. See, a lot of times I drink a lot of water because there are many games where MCs are constantly like, huh? What? Huh? But this MC is not derpy like that, okay? So I'm not drinking as much water as I usually do, because every time MC says, huh, we take a drink. And yes, I do have actual water in my giant mug. But I did have coffee in there earlier. This thing was filled with coffee earlier today. Up to the brim coffee. But now I'm being responsible and drinking actual water. I figure I should hydrate. Not me, clearly. I started filling my closet with clothes and carefully lined up my shoes and boots. I should totally get a new pair to celebrate being home. Y'all, my pig dogs are so greedy right now. They're like staring at me and begging and like pawing at things. Penny's like pawing at my desk, looking at me like, and she's tilting her head like this. And then she looks at me, and then if I look at her, she looks over at the bottle of TREATS. She's like this. That's Penny. That's what Penny's doing right now. I should totally get a new pair to celebrate being home. You should, girl. I left the closet and began arranging my study things on the desk. We'd be starting back to school on Monday after an inevitably busy week. The same private school we'd gone to before we left. That was the only thing I had mixed feelings about. There had been such a fuss about my last disappearance, the one when I was 12. Oh wait, I forgot that MC had disappeared more than once, right? MC's disappeared multiple times, and then has amnesia every time afterwards. Listen, girl, that's not magical amnesia. What if you've been kidnapped by aliens? Okay, listen. It's like Men in Black. The aliens abducted you, and then they wiped your memory so that way you wouldn't know that you were actually abducted by aliens. That is Rue theory number 1. That one had been the real catalyst for everything. That had been when everything just broke. Poor girl. I feel so bad for you, MC. I'd been missing for nearly 2 full weeks. The newspapers were running dramatic and hopeless stories. There was speculation about whether I was a runaway or if it was a ploy for attention. After all, it had happened to me before. There were search parties out every day looking for any sign of me. My parents were heartbroken. Again. Spencer was out with a search party one evening and got separated from them. They heard his scream and feared the worst. But he ran out of the woods a short time later in hysterics, clutching at one of his eyes. Then I walked out after him in a daze but unharmed. They never found anything wrong with his eye. He lost the vision in it, but no one knew the reason. He was saying a lot of crazy things at the time. No one knew if he'd hit his head or had maybe gotten attacked by a stray cougar. And again, I didn't remember a thing. There was a lot of public interest in the incident due to the fact that it was the second one involving our family. And me, specifically. Poor MC. People loved mysteries, and I had given them one. If I wasn't making it up, and I wasn't, then that sort of trauma could give me amnesia twice. No one could do anything but speculate, endlessly. My family tried to just get on with life, but it hadn't been easy, more like impossible. There had just been too much stupid speculation and skepticism. At school, there were rumors that we'd both done the whole thing for attention and Spencer's injury was fake. That he had a psychotic episode and tried to kill me. Wow, it was a mess. And so we just left. Ugh, why am I even thinking about this again? I shook off all those old negative thoughts. It was years ago. People had forgotten. Everything was going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine, MC says. Meanwhile, this is happening.
This is fine.
That's Rue Nora right now. I just should keep that little thing on my desk at all times because that is accurate. I stacked the empty boxes off to the side. On the opposite side of the room, I set up my painting things. The cabinet for my art supplies was nearby, and I quickly stacked everything inside. The sunny room was going to be perfect for painting. It even faced north. I loved that they remembered that when they picked this room for me.
Rue, are you finished yet?
I'm nearly done. Give me a few more minutes. I turned my attention to my small library of old books. I had all the classics, all used and worn and beautiful. And, of course, there was lots of Shakespeare. We like Shakespeare, y'all. It only took a few minutes to get the books on the shelves. I'd try to organize them properly tomorrow. Yep, just get it out of the box, and then you can do the detail work. That's the method for sure. Boxes first, details second. Once I was finished unpacking, I gave my room a satisfied once-over before heading downstairs to help Mom unpack the kitchen. What should I do with the boxes in my room?
We'll have to figure out what the recycling pickup schedule is so we can crush them and set them out. For now, just leave them.
Okay.
Meanwhile, can you set these out on the back porch?
She mentioned to a few large empty flower pots near the table.
No problem. And when you're back, I have a few things for you to take to the basement, okay? And don't forget to do what I asked you to do a few days ago, okay, remember? Remember I said about these other boxes over there in the corner and the ones in your bedroom? Make sure you finish that as well, all right? And don't forget.
Yay!
Come on, hurry it up.
Aye, Captain. I hefted the stack of pots and managed to wobble my way back to the back door with them, navigating door handle. Why can't I read today, y'all? That's what happened. Navigating the door handle was a bit interesting, but I managed to get outside without breaking anything. I set them down near one of the brick columns and looked across the overgrown backyard. Something interesting caught my eye, and I hopped off the porch to investigate. Let's go check it out. At the back, in a little hollowed-out area near the fence, was a large ring of white mushrooms with round caps. Oh, how adorable, y'all. It's a little fairy ring. Oh, isn't that precious? I smiled as I crouched down and poked one of them. We'd had one at our last house, too. Dad had tried everything to get rid of it, but it was very persistent. No matter what he treated it with, it always came back. He wouldn't be happy about it, but for some reason, I liked having it there. Oh, look at how beautiful and stunning we are. Look at how the wind is blowing through our hair. You can really get that sense in this CG. Look at our darling, precious green eyes. I like the green eyes. Yep. Look at how happy we are. There's even leaves in the wind. Look at the green foliage in the background. You know what? The colors are so nice. They're earthy and beautiful. And it's a stunning CG, and MC is stunning herself. Sure is. I smiled slightly, remembering playing with Spencer in our previous backyard. We'd play tag, and whoever made it inside the circle first would be safe. Or we'd lie inside it and pretend we could see the fairies dancing on the mushroom tops or playing in the tree branches. It's so whimsical and beautiful and fun. Look at this CG! We can see more of her outfit. Oh, I love this. I love it! I took a long, deep breath. Everyone, MC is taking a deep breath, so you're all going to take a deep breath with me, okay? Breathe in and breathe out. Isn't that nice? Why don't we do that one more time all together? Breathe in and breathe out. Let us continue our story. I'm so glad to be back.
What are you doing out here?
I sighed and stood, carefully brushing off my jeans. Why does he always have to sound so angry?
Mom has more work for you to do, you know? If you have time between daydreaming and communing with nature.
Is it possible for you to speak to me like I'm a human being?
It would be if I was sure you were a human being.
Listen, Spencer, I bet you think that you're being clever right now. I bet you think that was a sick burn. But listen, Spencer, your burns suck, okay? It was not funny, all right? It was not clever. And you should just go back to where you came from inside of the house, all right? Go back to your room and do whatever it is that you do. I hated the way he always said things like that with a completely straight face. Ha ha! Very amusing. I assure you that sisters are indeed human. Brothers, however, I'm not sure about. Real girl. Normally one would assume he hadn't meant it literally, but I could never tell with him.
Just get back inside.
As he turned away, he snapped a foot out, kicking over a few of the mushrooms. Why would you do that, Spencer? There was no reason for that. Listen, Spencer. Okay, y'all listen. I have a mission. This is our first choice. You know what I need to do is save it, okay? I need to save every time at a choice. And we're going to start from number 1 because we're starting from the beginning. That's what we're doing. Okay, now I can return. Here's what we're doing, y'all. My mission is to get a bad ending as quickly as possible. It's like a bad end speed run. And I have not played this game, and nor am I using a guide. I am not using a walkthrough. So we're just going to see what happens, okay? We're going to see how long it takes Jitteroo to get a bad ending, which kind of is my superpower. And also I like making trash decisions if I have the option. And usually making trash decisions leads us very quickly to a bad ending, all right? So here's the deal. I'm going to pick things that I think and that I guess could potentially end up with a bad ending. So in the choice between staying calm, which seems like the adult and reasonable thing to do, right? That's like being the better person in this situation, versus get angry, and just snap at him, lose yourself, girl. Let your emotions take over. That could potentially lead us to a bad ending, and so that is what I'm going to do. Listen, little brother, I don't appreciate you treating me like that, and I'm very angry with you. I couldn't help but get angry. It was probably petty of me, but he always did that sort of thing, and I was so tired of it. I grabbed his arm, holding it tightly when he tried to pull away. Yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what I'm gonna do. We are rarely the better person. Punch him in the face. Exactly, Milty, exactly. Listen, little brother, I'm going to punch you in your face. All right, I'm going to kick you to next year. You deserve that, and now I'm mad. Why do you always have to do things like that?
Who cares? They're just mushrooms. What's your problem?
You don't always have to lash out at things just because I like them. He opened his mouth as if to respond, but didn't quite get it out. What are you two doing out there? Quit fighting and get back in here and help. Jesus, take the wheel. That's Mom. Spencer yanked his arm out of my grasp, narrowing his eyes.
Don't touch me.
That's my impression of Spencer. His angry hiss echoed in my head, and I watched him stalk back inside. He stalked back inside while going,
I'm Spencer. Yeah.
I looked down at the crumbled mushrooms lying in broken bits on the grass. They'd grow back. It was stupid to care. I hated seeing something pretty messed up for a stupid reason. I hated that he had to ruin everything like some kind of creepy assassin of joy. Creepy being the operative word. I shoved my hands in my pockets and headed back inside. There was a quiet rustle of dried leaves behind me, and I glanced back. There was nothing there. Probably a squirrel or something. Casting one last glance at the fairy ring, I stepped back into the kitchen, prepared for a list of chores to complete before dinner. I was just glad Dad was already talking about ordering pizza instead of trying to cook. 'Cause everyone's tired, okay? Nobody wants to cook after unpacking all day. That night, I had a vivid dream. In it was the sense I was looking for something and that I had to find my way home. There were tall trees draped in emerald moss and groping branches that reached to the sun. There was faint singing, childish voices whose words I couldn't make out. It was a dream that left the taste and smell of warm, wet earth in my mouth as I woke. The smell quickly faded and was replaced by that of bacon and eggs as sunlight warmed my eyelids, beckoning me to wake up. MC oftentimes mentions nostalgically and fondly the taste of warm earth. I'm going to tell you something, okay? I do not agree with MC in this, all right? I do not like the taste of warm earth, okay? The idea of eating dirt does not appeal to me. It does not appeal at all to me. But I'm probably not a supernatural being like MC is, okay? Other than the fact that I'm a genius. MC has extenuating circumstances. MC has had dirt before. Poor MC. MC has had to eat dirt. Poor girl. I rolled over and snuggled deep into my blankets. Mom was already up. I like mushrooms, Milky, but I like them cooked. I don't really like them raw. I do like them cooked, though. And they don't really taste that earthy after you cook them, and put a whole bunch of salt and stuff. Mushrooms seem like dirt to you? Do you eat mushrooms, Milky? I think you don't like them, do you? I like them cooked. They're good cooked. But I guess I could agree with you that they are earthy tasting, raw. I can concede that. Yes, I can. I could hear her downstairs talking to Dad as she cooked breakfast. The prickle of sunlight against my eyelids coaxed me out of sleep and warmed my face. Ooh, mushroom crisps. I've never had that before. I think I would love that. I would totally eat that. I've never had it. I didn't know that was a thing. Though someone once told me it's evident I'm a fae. That's true. I think you are a fae. I 100% agree. Jambi pointed that out one time before, that you were a fae. And I think that's true. There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of evidence to indicate that you indeed, Eshberry, are a fae. Also, I have to say this. You know a lot about fae. Like a lot about fae. A lot! And they show up in much of your fiction. I have to ask the question, okay? If you are not a fae, how do you know so much about them? I assert once again, ladies and gentlemen, that Eshberry is indeed a fae. Evidenced by Exhibit A, enjoys mushroom crisps. And Evidence B, knows way too much about fae. Okay. Evidence number 3, this comment right here. I will neither confirm nor deny anything. I'm just going to take that as confirmation, okay? Confirmation! Yes, the prickle of sunlight against my eyelids coaxed me out of sleep and warmed my face. Rue, I know you want to sleep in, but we still have a lot of unpacking to do. So get up out of bed already and come down here and eat this food. I've been slaving away in the kitchen making breakfast for all 3 of you dolts. All right? So get over here and start eating and finish unpacking. My goodness. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm up. Sort of. The last remnants of my dream faded as I staggered out of the bed and to my closet to rummage for something to wear. It was a dream I'd had many times, though not for a while. With that sense of having to get home, I assumed it was a dream from when I'd gotten lost in the woods. From when I'd gotten spirited away, as my grandmother always called it. Being back must have been dredging up some of the old feelings from back then. I glanced toward my half-open curtains. It looks a bit chilly this morning. I should probably find something warm. This far north, it always felt like summer simply stopped abruptly, giving way to instant autumn. Yesterday, when we had arrived, it had been sunny with a hint of chill. But I was betting the mornings were pretty cold.
Hey, Mom says to stop fooling around and get your butt downstairs.
I nearly jumped out of my skin when he was just walked into my room like that. Could you knock first? Okay? You can knock. There are doors. Okay? And mine was closed. In response, I snatched a stray sock and threw it his way. I'm getting dressed, you creep.
then shut the door.
Fine! I marched across the room to slam the door in Spencer's face. Okay, listen. The door may have been open, but even so, you can still politely knock and then come in or ask to come in, okay? Don't just barge into my room. How dare you? How dare? I threw my clothes on and wrangled my curly hair into some semblance of a ponytail. Y'all, did you just see that? Did you just notice how the sprites changed? Yes, they did, okay? That was clever, I like that. Not exactly the height of stylishness, but we still had unpacking to do, and Mom could be a slave driver, function over fashion or whatever. I got downstairs in time to see Mom setting out the plates. First breakfast in the new house! Yay! I'm so excited! We're eating, y'all. We're cooking in the new house. That is a good feeling, you know? It's always fun to mark those momentous occasions when you move somewhere new and you do something for the very first time in your new home. I love that feeling. I'm with Mom. Listen, y'all, I feel like me and Mom, we're like the same. You know, I get Mom. I know what's in her head, the things that she doesn't say. You notice that Mom has a lot more dialogue with me that she doesn't actually say in the text below. Over there, you know, things that Mom does not say down there. I'm giving it a voice. You want to know why? Because Mom's inner thoughts deserved to be said. They deserve to be known. And I know exactly what she's thinking. Exactly! Wow, you really went all out. Bacon, eggs, even pancakes. And glorious, glorious coffee. Coffee is glorious. I agree with that, okay? A life without coffee would be a sad, sad life for Rue, Jitteroo. Listen, Rue, Nora, Rue. I get you. That's why I had an entire this whole thing full of coffee earlier today. And now I'm swapped over to water. And later tonight, I'm going to have tea, an herbal tea. Rue tracking Mum's inner thoughts and giving them voice. Exactly, Eshberry. Exactly. Glorious coffee, it must be said. It must be pointed out. Coffee is indeed glorious, and you are correct, Milky. Thus the jitter part. There have been times where I had enough coffee right before I streamed where I was like vibrating, you know, and that's part of the reason why I get extremely distractible sometimes, because I had so much coffee that I'm extremely jittery and really talkative and really distractible and everything. And every little thing kind of gets me like distracted, and I want to look over there and oh my gosh, there's a squirrel, and what's the dog doing? And oh, look at this toy on my oh, did you know that I also have that exact same thing on my shelf right over there that they have in the background of this CG? That kind of stuff, you know? But listen, I'm being really good today. I'm proud of myself right now. Because you want to know why? My levels of distraction have been kept to a minimum. Guess what? Last time that we played this game, it took me at least 2 hours to get to this point. And guess what? It's taken me about an hour to get to that now. It probably took me longer than 2 hours to get to this point last time. Listen, I'm doing really good. I'm proud of myself. I'm leveling up. I'm a genius. Dad walked by munching on something and Mom scowled at him. Sit at the table if you want to eat. See, Mom has to like keep everybody in line because nobody listens to Mom, okay? Everyone's like animals in this house. All of you are behaving like animals, okay? Sit at the table and eat like a regular human being, all right? Stop roving around like a bovine. How dare you? Too busy. Oh, thank you for redeeming stretch. We all need that, especially first thing in the morning. Oh, water. Hi, Snow Monkey. Thank you for being here. Exactly. I'm stay focused, Rue. I'm focused, Rue, okay? With minimal distractions. I mean, distractions are going to happen like real because it's Rue. And also I enjoy hanging out with all of y'all. And sometimes we have excellent discussions, and that is going to continue. But I'm also doing a good job of not like completely careening off of the tracks like I usually do. Water! I hope you're all drinking water with me. I hope you all stretched with me, okay? Thank you for redeeming points. Well, Dad's like, hey, listen, okay? I'm too busy. He reached for another piece of bacon, but she slapped his hand. He just grinned at her. As soon as she turned away, he grabbed the bacon and shoved it in his mouth and then fled the room. I rolled my eyes at them and was about to sit when Mom yanked my breakfast away ruthlessly. Mom! What? Take a drink, y'all. MC said, what? Ha! Thank you for reminding us to hydrate. Oh, said Mom. She pointed to several garbage bags and a box by the door. Uh-oh. You said you'd take them out last night and didn't. The bags go to the bins out front, and the box goes to the tool shed out back. Both of them before breakfast, okay? Hop to it, Rue, all right? Listen, I told you to do this yesterday, plus 10 other things that you have yet to do. You better get on it now, girl. Listen, do I have to do everything for you animals in this house? Do I have to do everything? I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I get up early in the morning. I make you all breakfast. Nobody even says thanks, Mom. I recognize all the hard work you put into this house. I do half of the unpacking all by myself, and then I ask you to do a simple thing, a simple task. Take the bag out to the shed. How hard is that? Rue, how hard is it? It's not. It's not hard one single iota. And yet, you managed to not complete your task. Listen, Rue, you had one job. One. You had one job and you failed at even that. You better get on it, okay? Do it right now or you're not eating. Real. Mic drop. Mom, I'm hungry. I crave sustenance. Girl, who says that? Actually, I've said that before, but because I was imitating a video game. I made sad whining noises and pawed at her for my plate. That's exactly what my dogs do. She wasn't buying it. Spencer swung by the table and took my plate out of her hands, snatching a slice of bacon off it and shoving it in his mouth, like father like son.
Thanks, Mom. Looks delicious.
Well, at least he said thank you. That's mine, just so you know. Yeah, you ate my food. How dare you? You're a horrible brother. You're horrible. He sidled past me, holding the plate just out of reach. There's plenty of food. Take the trash out and then you can eat. You're so mean, all of you. It was useless to argue. I already knew that. I sighed and trudged to the door, fumbling with a pair of flip-flops there before picking my poison and heading out. I can either take the box to the backyard, or I can take the bags to the bins out front. I don't think that this is going to necessarily yield to a bad ending or not, but I'm going to save it. That's what we're going to do. We save our game, and we click on the correct screen to do so. Okay, and then we return. Now that we've saved it, okay, last time we played this game, y'all, we took the boxes to the backyard. This time, why don't we go ahead and take the bags to the bins out front, just for kicks and giggles. I hope you know this is cruel and unusual punishment. It's not punishment, just fulfilling obligations. Listen, Rue, I'm trying to teach you some responsibility. All right? It's my duty as your parent. Cruel! I barely got the last word in before the door slammed shut. She was big about obligations and responsibilities. But considering that Dad was much worse, I probably shouldn't complain. I headed down the short drive to where the jumbled bins were sitting just behind the mailboxes. It was a gorgeous, crisp fall morning, chilly but invigorating. And it was a real shame I was going to spend it cleaning and unpacking when I could be contacting Allie to hang out. Allie's our bestie, isn't she? We hadn't seen each other in 5 years, so I was really looking forward to catching up, and I just hoped I'd at least have time to call her later in the day. I was in the middle of dropping the bags into the green bin when a loud crash, followed by a few desperate curses, came from just over the wooden fence. More crashes, and what sounded like scattering cans and plastic bottles ensued. We hadn't met the neighbors yet, so I wasn't sure I wanted to go poking my nose over the fence, but it sounded like someone was having some major issues over there. Ugh! No! There was the sound of scattering trash again. I tossed the bags in the bin and slammed the lid shut before taking a peek around the side of the fence. There was a boy about my age, riding several garbage bins and hastily picking up scattered paper and plastics before shoving them in a blue container. Oh, hey! It's another boy! Need a hand? It's a love interest, y'all. It's the first love interest. Let's take a look at his outfit. Y'all, he looks emo, doesn't he? Totally emo. Totally 90s emo. Sure does. I do like his color palette, I will say. He's a cutie! Need a hand? Wah! I'd clearly startled him. In a rather spectacular display, he jumped nearly a foot in the air and somehow ended up on his butt and on the ground. He stared up at me with pale green eyes. Okay, weird eyes. Girl judging already. Elliot is so dramatic. He's more dramatic than I realized before because last time I didn't see this scene. He jumped to his feet, snatching a plastic bottle off of the grass as he did so. No, I got it. Just gotta pick up everything. He dropped the bottle into the recycling bin, giving me an embarrassed smile. They sort of attacked when I was bringing out the trash. Yes, the teeth reminder. Let me see your teeth, Elliot. Let me see you smile. Show me them teeth, Elliot. What kind of monster are you, Elliot? What kind of supernatural are you? We must know. Also, for those of you who have not played this game, bets in the chat, okay? What do you think he is? You can't cheat. If you played this already, you know the answer. Don't say, okay, here's my guess, okay? This is my guess. You are, I'm gonna say I don't think he's a werewolf. I'm not feeling werewolf. I don't think Fae. I feel like Fae would be more earthy, you know? Maybe not so much emo. He is pale. He's very pale. You know, like compared to MC down there, he's more pale. He could be a vampire. He could be. He could also be an alien, you know? He could be an alien. Aliens are dramatic. Yeah, what are our options? I don't think he's a fae. What else could he be? You know? He could be a ghost. Are there ghosts in this game? Like love interest? He could be a ghost. They're pale, you know? I could see that. Are there demons in this game? Like, what if somebody's a demon? He could be a demon, you know? That's a possibility. That's a possibility. All right, here's what I'm going to put my bet down on. I know that there has to be vampires. There has to be... Oh, wait, magician, you're right. Okay, Milky, I think you said... I think last time Esh said something about a mage, a fae, a werewolf, a vampire... Oh, there we go. Natural-born vampire. Wizard. Infected vampire. Wow, infected vampire. That's like new vampire versus old vampire. An esper. I don't know what an esper is. What's that? A werewolf and a fae. I know what a fae is. A fae is basically a fairy. But I don't know what an esper is. Okay, well, here's what my guess, okay? Here's my guess for him. I don't know what esper is, so that's on the table. Oh, esper is someone with psychic powers. You know what? I could see that. Okay, here's my guess. And I haven't been able to see his teeth yet. So that's going to make things a little tougher. My guess for Elliot is that he is an esper. Either that or an infected vampire. Okay, not an old vampire, but an infected one, okay? Those are my two guesses for him. And if I'm wrong, my third backup guess is going to be wizard. So I'm going to say esper number 1, infected vampire number 2, and wizard number 3. Those are my guesses. We'll see if I'm right later.
Fair enough. I've waged epic battle with many a trash bin myself.
Have you, girl? You're clumsy, aren't you? They're a terrible enemy, to be sure. Elliot doesn't smell strong enough? Money and angst to be a natural vampire? Yeah, exactly. Natural vampires have to be like snooty, you know, and old and like super rich because they've been alive for thousands of years. And so they've collected money out of all that time, you know? They look way younger than they actually are, you know? That's how that's how a natural vampire would have to be. You know, a grand vampire from an old money vampire family. That's my guess. They're a terrible enemy, to be sure.
Oh, yes, especially the blue ones. Have to watch out for those.
They get me every time. We both laughed awkwardly. So, you're one of the new neighbors?
Guilty as charged. I'm not quite charitable enough to take the trash out for complete strangers on a Saturday morning.
Nice. He gave me a quick look up and down. Ooh, he's checking us out. And then immediately turned red again. Oh, he liked what he saw. And rubbed the back of his neck as he bent to pick up more of the scattered trash. I mean, you know, it's nice to have someone my age move in instead of just weird old people or something. Okay, so he seemed nice. The purple hair was cool. I didn't mind the piercings either. We're checking him out too. We're checking each other out. We're like, oh, hi, handsome stranger. I grinned slightly. We're totally flirting with him. Totally flirting. Yeah, no weird old people over here. Yes, no weird old people. Oh, by the way, I'm Elliot.
I'm Rue.
Cool, Rue. I will totally remember that. Rue, yeah. He murmured my name to himself a few times as if trying to memorize it. So, awkward silence descended. Introductions were always so weird. Where are you guys moving from?
Oh, just out of state. We used to live here a few years ago and just came back because my grandfather's sick.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Well, he's a bit better than he was, so it's okay. We just wanted to be closer to them because of it.
Makes sense. He gave me a sidelong look. He's giving a side eye like this. So, starting school here soon then? I mean, you're still in high school, right?
For another year. I'm a senior.
Cool. Same here.
My brother's a senior too.
Oh, so you're like twins or something.
Yeah. Lucky for you, I'm the nice one though.
So your brother's the evil one.
Yes, exactly. Sadly, yes. Spencer is evil.
Just like straight up evil. Not just annoying, but evil. Ah, cool. Well, I mean, it's not cool that your brother is evil, but it's cool that I lucked out and met the good twin. I have a stepsister. She is also kind of evil.
Ooh, an evil stepsister. That's pretty classic.
Between you and me, we should probably make sure that they never meet. The world would definitely be in peril. Real.
I bent down behind one of the bins to pick up some of the things he hadn't grabbed yet, smiling slightly.
The most natural of dialogue, truly, says Eshberry. This is some of my best writing. Sarcasm. What? I like the dialogue. I think it's a perfect meet cute, you know? When you're in high school, it's awkward like that. High school is awkward. Oh, you don't have to do that.
I don't mind.
I liked him. He had a cute smile. He's so cute. Hey, Mozzie. I heard the voice and decided to pop my head up and see who was talking. Bad idea. Watch out. Ow! I barely even saw the football coming before it bounced off my head. Holy what? I was pretty sure I actually saw stars. My legs buckled and I immediately felt Elliot grab me around the waist to keep me standing. Oh, Elliot. Whoa. Oh, God, are you okay? His voice was right next to my ear. I could feel his breath ghosting across my cheek. Rapid footsteps sounded across my yard. Y'all, no matter what we do, no matter what choice we make, it doesn't matter. We still got hit in the head with a football. Water! Also, y'all, I can see teeth right now. I do. I see teeth. We see teeth from the new love interest that's being introduced right now. Look at him. Look at him. His name is Dan, right? I think his name is Dan. He's a cutie too. Ah, thank you for redeeming Stretch. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you. Okay, so based on the teeth that I can see, and he has yellow eyes, I'm going to make a guess as to what form of supernatural this guy is. All right. Our choices once again, y'all, was natural vampire, infected vampire, wizard, fae, werewolf, esper. I think that's it. So out of those options, I see before me a young man with yellow eyes and... Is that sharp teeth? I can't get the best look out of his teeth. Are those sharp teeth, sir? Are those fangs? Are you a vampire? Are you rich? You're not pale enough to be a vampire, though. You know, you look like you get some sun. Vampires, you know, they're pale. They don't like the sun. They're more like Elliot over there. Okay, so I'm going to say no vampire. He could be a fae. You know, he's got earthy colors. But do fae have sharp teeth? Are they sharp? It's hard to tell, but they look kind of sharp. Okay, here's my guess. Here's my guess for this man. My guess is werewolf. Because his teeth look They could be Wolfie. They could be Wolfie, okay? All right, if he starts doing things like sniffing around, and acting dog-like, like if he plays fetch with that ball that he just smashed into our head, then I'm going to be like, he's definitely a werewolf. Also, welcome back from Agile, you stunners. While you were away, I was trying to look at this man's teeth and his sprite to figure out what manner of supernatural he is. I think his name is Dan, over there on the left-hand side of the screen. I can't exactly tell, but if I take a close look, I think he might have sharp teeth. And he has yellow eyes and a darker complexion. So I'm putting my bets on werewolf for this man. And so does Milky. Milky agrees. Werewolf. All right, we'll find out if we're correct. All right, we said Elliot is probably an Esper or a new vampire. Or a wizard. I'm going to put my money... okay, let me pick one for each guy, okay? Esper, I'm going to say... Or Esper. I'm going to guess... And again, I truly don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm going to say Elliot is an Esper. Or a wizard. Oh, wait, wizard was an option. Wizard was an option. Crap. Okay, no, I'm sticking with it, okay? Elliot is the Esper with psychic powers. And then Dan, I think that's his name. He's going to be our werewolf. That's what I'm guessing. Roxy, yep, also see him being a werewolf. Okay, that's what we're putting our money down on. We'll see if we're correct.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was anyone else over here.
Oh, that was him. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there's anyone else over here.
No, it's okay. I've always wondered what it would be like to have my brain knocked loose. It's quite freeing.
Girl, so sarcastic.
It's quite the arm you have.
The new guy laughed awkwardly. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Should we help you inside? It wasn't exactly terrible being held by Elliot. He's holding us. But I decided I should probably pull away and try to stand on my own. I shook my head, trying to rid myself of the blurred vision. No, I'm good. Awkward silence descended before Elliot laughed nervously. That was kind of amazing. Is it because you held me? That's why it was amazing. It's because you like me. You're in love with me already. I can tell. And why wouldn't you be in love with us? From the instant you see us, it's love at first sight. Why not? I laughed, then winced and reached up to touch the bump forming on my head. Ow, it hurt. Ow. Let me look. Oh, you're looking. Will you kiss my boo-boo? You give it a little kiss. I turned toward him and let him examine my forehead while I stared at his strange eyes. They were such an odd shade of green. I wondered if they were contacts. I couldn't imagine anyone having that color naturally. I have green eyes, but you have really green eyes, sir. Well, you have a bump.
Is that the official diagnosis, Doctor?
You should go put some ice on it. Man, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible.
It's fine, really. Blame it on my utterly bad timing if you want.
I'm Danny, by the way. King of terrible first impressions.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. And by the way, Mossy?
Dumb nickname. I blame my stepsister. Just ignore it. What are you even doing up this early? I don't usually see you before noon if I don't come over and drag you out of bed. which is what I was about to do, by the way.
A night owl?
You could say that.
Yeah, real. I could see you being a night owl for sure. I'm also a night owl. I hate waking up early in the morning. I hate it.
He rubbed the back of his neck again.
Cute. I also have more energy at night, real. Like, I actually feel more energy. I feel more creative at night. I feel more motivated at night to do stuff. I'm just, my circadian rhythm is just nighttime. Even if I sleep, even if I get up at like 6 in the morning, then most of the day I'm just like tired and yeah. Even if I slept well, I still just would prefer to be up all night.
Cute. He seemed to do that a lot when he was embarrassed.
Exactly, Milky. Nocturnal creatures for the win. Of which I am one, or I would like to be. Listen, y'all, in the chat. Are you a morning person, or are you a night person? Are you an early bird gets the worm, or are you a late night owl in the night? Yes. Let me know if I'm alone.
Cute.
He seemed to do that a lot when he was embarrassed.
I'm not much of a morning person either.
Right. Mornings suck. Too bright. Too early. Yes! Look, he's winking at us. He knows, he knows us, okay? He knows us already. I like mornings. You would, Danny. You would. Yeah, me and Milky were both night creatures. Real.
The only good thing about morning is coffee.
I agree, Rue. 100%. Coffee is the best part of every morning. It really is.
Rue, can you stop flirting and get back in here to carry the rest of the crap out back?
I flinched at the sound of Spencer's voice and shot a glare at the house just in time to see his auburn curls vanish back inside. How dare you interrupt me, Spencer? Okay? How dare you? The evil twin.
Ah, yes, unfortunately. We're still unpacking, so I should head back in. It was nice to meet you both.
Hey, where are you going to school? We're both at Stone Circle Academy. Maybe we'll see you there.
That's right. We'll be starting on Monday, so I'll definitely see you there.
Nice. Don't forget to put ice on that.
I waved at them both and headed back inside.
I glanced back once and saw Danny elbow Elliot to say something to him. Elliot turned red and shoved Danny's shoulder. He was probably like, hey, she was hot. He caught me watching and waved sheepishly. I waved back and went inside, laughing. Ha 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 ha! Mom made a bit of a fuss over the bump on my head and insisted on an ice pack while I ate breakfast. Breakfast is probably real cold by now. But by the time I finished, she was already dictating the list of chores I had to take care of when I was done. It was going to be a long, long day. Chapter 2, Stone Circle Academy. Listen, y'all. By the time I got to Chapter 2 last time, I think I had been streaming a full 4 hours already. This time, it hasn't even been 2 full hours since I started streaming, and we're already on Chapter 2. See? I'm getting better at this.
I don't see them anywhere.
They were on the counter last night. Where are they?
How the heck should I know? You never let me drive, so I don't keep up with the car keys.
You two are going to be late for your first day if you don't find them soon.
Not my fault.
Spencer was scouring the house looking for the car keys that he insisted he'd left on the counter. I was rinsing the breakfast dishes and Mom was supervising. Spencer let out an exasperated groan from near the door where he was hunting around for the keys.
Where's my other shoe?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't keep up with your stuff. I finished the dishes and wiped my hands, grabbing my book bag as I headed out the front door to see if Spencer had left the keys there instead. So we're going to the front door and we're looking for keys. If I'm late because of you...
We won't be late if you just help me find the keys.
I wouldn't have to help you find them if you just keep up with your stuff.
We're getting a little testy with our brother, but listen, he deserves it, okay? We wouldn't be like this with him if he was nice to us, which he never is. I stalked to the front to check the little shelf by the cabinet there. No keys. I don't know why I opened the cabinet to check inside, but when I pulled the door open, I was confronted by Spencer's worn-out tennis shoe in the cabinet. I blinked at it in surprise. What the? Take a drink, y'all. MC just said, what? Hydration. I snatched it out of the cabinet and stalked back to the kitchen. I could only imagine that my sleep-deprived mom had put it there while doing the last of the unpacking. I wondered if Spencer had checked the fridge for the keys yet. At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where they were. I found your stupid shoe! Exactly, Eshberry. Every time MC says, what? Huh? Or anything of the like, we take a drink. And in this case, that drink today is water. You're glad that it wasn't alcohol, your liver would be in trouble. You know what? I've made that mistake on stream before. With wine, in fact. And it was indeed a mistake. Real. I tossed him the shoe and, as it somersaulted through the air to him, something flew out and hit the floor with a decidedly metallic sound. We both looked down in surprise. The car keys were sprawled carelessly on the kitchen floor. What? Take a drink. MC said, what? What were the keys doing in his shoe? Spencer immediately glared at me. Don't look at me. I didn't put them there.
Where did you find this?
In the cabinet by the front door. I could tell exactly what he was thinking, but I just shrugged. Sorry, it wasn't me. I don't know why your shoe was there, but I'm not in the mood to hear you blame me for it. Exactly, Milky. Double glasses of milk. He just scoffed as he set the shoe down and shoved his foot in it. He snatched the keys off of the floor.
Yeah, right.
Mom hurried back into the kitchen. We found them. Someone put them in the front cabinet. Mom's just like, what? I know, don't ask me. Maybe Dad did it. Whatever. Someone probably just wasn't paying attention. You two need to leave now. You'll still have to stop and check in at the office before class. She practically shoved us both through the door. You know what I think about that scene, y'all? That's the second time I've seen that scene now. And here's my thoughts. That was oddly suspicious. Here's why it was suspicious, okay? A, the fact that it was impacting Spencer more than anyone. And then it impacted Spencer's shoes and Spencer's keys. All right? Secondly, it was up high in the cabinet. I was imagining it like the cabinet up high, not a low cabinet, but that cabinet that was by the front door that was up high. You know, when people take their shoes off, they usually kick their shoes off in the corner. They put them on a cabinet, maybe that's on the ground. You know, they're on the floor. So the fact that his shoe was up high and there's only one shoe, that's suspicious. Not only that, the keys were inside the shoe. And it wasn't discovered where the keys were until the shoe was discovered. I also find it very interesting that it was only our annoying little brother
our twin brother. That was impacted with his belongings being misplaced. I also know that this town is haunted, okay? And it's supernatural. There's stuff going on. There's magic around, okay? So here is my guess. Remember when we were outside in the back and we saw the circle of mushrooms, and our annoying brother came over and he kicked a bunch of the mushrooms and then he stalked out of there, okay? This is my theory, okay? I don't know if this is true or not, but here's what I think. I think he made a supernatural entity very angry in that moment that he kicked those mushrooms. Very angry, okay? And the ghost or the little fae, the fairies, it was a fairy circle. Whatever it was upset with brother because of him disrespecting the mushroom circle. Because how dare he? How rude! We also know that fairy and creatures, they're mischievous, okay? They get in trouble. So here's what I think happened. He made the fairies angry. The fairies went to go get their revenge. So they took the shoe, the very same shoe that he kicked the magic circle with, and they hid it somewhere where that he wouldn't be able to find it. And then they were like, ha ha, our evil plan has been realized to make this stupid boy late for school. That was our evil plan. Now you're late for your first day. Okay? Eshberry says that would mean, gasp, a fae got in the house. That's exactly what happened, Esh. A fae got in the house. That's what happened. That's what happened 100%. That is my theory, okay? Somehow a fae got in the house. And I'm imagining a tiny fae. I'm imagining it to be like this big, okay? That's what I'm imagining. With little fae magic powers. That's what I bet happened. Yep, real. And I bet it happened exactly the way that I just told that story. With the laughter and everything. Interesting. I wonder if we'll ever meet that fae. Esh, are you hinting right now? Are you hinting that one of the love interests who's a fae got in the house and did that? Or, oh no, but that wouldn't make sense if he's this big. Well, that wouldn't make sense. I think the fae is a mini fae. That's what I think. Can fae change their size? You know? Can they be like Ant-Man and be gigantic and towering over mountains in 1 second, and then the size of an ant in the next, and then a human in the next moment? They are magical. The gears are turning. I think I'm onto something, Esh. I think I'm onto something. And thus came the quiet, uncomfortable drive to school. Yay. Spencer was driving our shared car and I was sitting quietly in the passenger seat because fighting over who got to drive just wasn't worth it. I hated riding with him though, but I had no choice on that point. Maybe we can get a hottie to give us rides to school later. I was hoping after catching up with a couple of old friends, I might be able to start bumming a ride with one of them. In the meantime, though. So, looking forward to your first day? Ooh, Spriggans in folklore can change their size. Wow, what's a Spriggan? We might not be getting along, but I hated awkward silences almost as much as fighting. It should not have been this painful to ride in a car with my brother for 10 minutes. Ah, yes, typical Spencer response. Curt, cryptic, utterly useless for conversation. I take that as a no.
Depends on how many classes I have with you.
Ugh, really? Can we not start the day like this?
Then can you not talk to me?
How rude.
How dare you be so rude to me? I'm just trying to be nice to you.
I bit my lip and stared out the window.
It would have been nice if we could have, I don't know, supported each other or something. Like actual siblings.
They're Cornish fae. Imagine something like a goblin, known to be jerks. They're small, but they can make themselves much bigger. And that is a spriggan, y'all.
Ooh, now I've learned things. It's educational now. Not that I know from experience or something. Listen, are a spriggan and a Cornish fae, you know? Listen, okay? We know that they're a type of fae. And we know that you are a fae. So are you saying that you are indeed a spriggan? Are there other types of... There's other types of fae. It's a type of fae, okay? There's different types of fae. Are you a spriggan, Eshberry? Are you a Cornish fae? Listen, do I try again with my brother or do I ignore him? Okay, we have to save it because we're going for a bad ending. Spriggans are weird old men fae. Oh, they're weird little old men. Are they all men? You're not a spriggan. Okay, fair. You're a different kind of fae. You're not a spriggan, but you're something else. Well, maybe one of those Cornish fae were the ones that moved the shoe. You know, it could have been a little grumpy old man fae that was this big, snuck into the house, grew up in size, grabbed the shoe, put it up high in the cabinet, shrunk back in size, and left the house. That's exactly what happened. Ignore the bro, Milky says. All right, that's what you said. I'm going to do that. Hopefully we get a bad ending out of that.
He was always like this. I should have been used to it by now. Trying to talk to him anymore never did any good. Over the years, I'd learned that the easiest way to avoid an argument with him was to just pretend he didn't exist. I stared out the window, watching the trees pass. I hated this. A few minutes later, we were pulling into the school parking lot. As soon as we found a space, Spencer jumped out and went straight inside. I grabbed my stuff and slammed the door, pausing to take a deep breath. I was not letting him ruin my day. Or I'd try not to anyway. By the time I got inside, he was already walking out of the office with his schedule in hand. He didn't even look at me. I guess that was his way of letting me know I was on my own today. Not that I expected anything else. It didn't take long to get my own schedule printed. As I left the office, still looking it over, I heard a long, familiar squeal heading my way. Most of the bad endings in this game are based on multiple wrong choices. I think there may actually be only one that requires only one wrong choice to obtain, says Eshberry. Really? Really? I used to be much nicer and wouldn't kill people off from a single mistake. I've grown. Now my games have more insta-kills. How kind of you. How kind of you, Esh. I wonder if my superpower is going to take in with that new information. I wonder if my superpower will take over and I'll get a bad ending. If I don't get a bad ending, I'll grab a guide and then skip through because I want to see the bad endings. I do like bad endings. I do like them. I like good endings too, but a lot of times people miss bad endings. You know, it's because I did a little bit of research, you know. I polled some people in my Discord, and I also went to Reddit, and I asked a bunch of folks on Reddit, and got a lot of responses back on this question. What I wanted to know is if people use guides, if they go in blind, and if they go straight for the good ending and move on, or if they go and they read bad endings. And all of the samples, they're small sample sizes I get, but you know, there's probably a couple hundred people total that responded to this.
overall, the majority of people said that they play with a guide and they skip all the bad endings. They do the guide and then they go straight to the true ending or the good ending, and then they move on. So a lot of people actually just don't even see all that content. Now, sometimes people said, hey, if they heard that a bad ending was really good, or if there was a game that focused on that, then they might go back. Or the other thing is people who are completionists and have a CG, then they'll go back and complete the bad ending. Ashberry says, I've done some surveys on this one. About 60% of people do not play the bad endings at all, even if there are CGs. See, that's about what I saw too. The majority of people are just skipping bad endings. So I'm a completionist. So that's why I discovered that bad endings were a thing that I wanted. At first, when I first started playing visual novels, I didn't realize that bad endings were a whole thing. I didn't get it. But then Pio Fiore was the game that taught me the error of my ways. So then I actually went back to some other games I had previously completed just to get 100% completion and see what all of the bad endings were that I had missed. And y'all, I had missed some great content. And ever since then, I always go for the bad endings. I always look for them. And of course, you usually have to get a good ending in order to progress in your storyline. So I'm going to see the good ending anyways. So I'm like, you know what? It's more fun to just go in blind without a guide. Let what happens, happens. If I get a good ending, wow, good for me. If I get a bad ending, I get the bad ending. And then after that, if I play it again and I skip through the dialogue and I pick the other choices, if I have a hard time figuring out how to get the other alternative ending, then I pull out a guide. So that way, I can always get 100% completion rate when I play video games on my own for visual novels. Ash says, oh, and also, I've heard rumors that you've got some good bad endings in this game. I'm looking forward to them. You've been trying to frame them as alternate endings because I think that framing them as a fail state or bad makes people shy away from them. But if you make it more natural as this is just an alternate path for funsies, it feels less dire. You know what? I think that's a good point. Here's another thing that I'll say about bad endings. Is a lot of people who play visual novels, they play other types of video games. And your goal in playing a video game is to win, right? And so when you get a good ending, you're winning. You picked the correct choice and you got to the end of the level and you're winning, right? So if you're playing a Mario game, you're going to take the correct route so you don't fall off of the cliff or end up in a dead end or get chomped by a monster or something, and then you get a game over and you're like, dang, that wasn't fun. I don't want to have a game over. My mission is to beat the level and to win. And so I agree with you that framing of bad ending, I think it kind of plays into gamer brain because that's how I was feeling when I first started playing visual novels. I just thought, oh, I don't want a game over. I don't want a bad ending. That means I lost, right? That means I lost the level and I want to win. So I think you're onto something there. I think you're onto something. You know what? Maybe though, I would even say like trash ending, because that's one of my favorite reasons for reading bad endings is because a lot of times they're trash or they're angst, and I'm an angst lover. So you could have like ending like angst ending, trash ending, stuff like that. Like tragic ending, that could be a way to put it. That wouldn't be like, oh, game over. Oh, bad end. Yeah. Yeah, in an RPG or something, when you lose, it's often just anticlimactic and the game just stops. That part, exactly. And that's what I was expecting when I first started visual novels because I didn't know any better. But in visual novels, bad endings have a lot of content many times. So in that way, they're not quite the same as just a regular game over. There's some incentive to see the content. Exactly. I want to see how is the MC going to die or the love interest, How is that going to go down? And a lot of times it's unhinged. Sometimes it's even more interesting than the good ending is. There's a lot of games where I find the bad endings to be more entertaining than the true endings or the good endings. Real. So I don't skip them anymore. When I'm into a game, I might for stream just to like kind of move things along, and because I play a lot of different games on stream, but especially when I'm playing a game on my own, especially then, it's like I got to get 100%. And nowadays it takes me longer to get through Otome games because I don't have as much time as I would like to get through all of them. But it's worth it. It's worth it. I have not regretted getting 100% completion on any visual novel that I've played. I have not regretted it. Anyways, that was a long rant to say bad endings. Yes. In this game, we had a lot of options for how things could go horribly awry. That's why I feel it's worth it to play them. It's not like a game where you just get stabbed and die. With all the magic and supernatural things in Changeling can go wrong in some really wild ways. Oh, yes. Y'all, bad ending speed run. That's what we want. I want to go straight into a bad ending. And if I don't get it, Ash, I'm going to grab a guide and we're going to make sure we get them because I want to see the bad endings. Anyways, you can also tell that this takes place in the 90s. You want to know how I know it takes place in the 90s? Because MC went to the printer. The MC went to get her schedule printed, okay? Who has that anymore? No one. Do kids even have printers in schools anymore? Do you even have that? Do you even have a printer where you can get your schedule printed and you walk around the hall with it? That's a thing of the past. Anyway, let us continue our story after I drink some water. Are we going to get an old lady lecture again? I'm thinking about it. But listen, Milky, okay? I'm going to let that just come as it comes because I've already given you a lecture about fax machines, okay? I've already given you a lecture about phones and how everybody should be using your phone, okay? I've already given you that. So I'm not going to do that again. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all? I'm not going to do that again. Also, let me press a button. I'm pressing a button. Oh, yes, I am. I'm pressing a button. Okay, there we go. Button has been pressed. Let us continue our story. You started writing the story in 2012. Oh, you had early 2000s on the brain. I love these kind of period pieces, though. This game right here, I think it ages well. It does. It's still engaging. I'm having fun. It didn't take long to get my own schedule printed. As I left the office, still looking it over, I heard a long, familiar squeal heading my way. A squeal. It must be Bestie. I couldn't keep the grin off of my face when I saw Allie Fisher, the one person I'd kept in touch with the last 5 years, barreling toward me. A squeal. Rue, I just saw Spencer. Dang, he's pretty. I didn't think he'd get so tall. Ew. That's the first thing you're going to say to me when we finally see each other again. Also, that's not tall. You'd tower over him with a good set of heels. Oh, come on. He's not my brother. I'm allowed to admire him. Girl, Allie, listen. Listen, Allie. You have terrible taste in men. She grinned and grabbed my arm, pulling me away from the office and down the hall. You're gross, and your crush on him is super weird. That part, exactly. Nope. Like I said, I'm allowed. Allie, trust me when I say this. You can do better. No, I don't think so. In fact, I'm thinking later today I need to catch up with Spencer a bit. Are you saying that just to get under my skin? Some friends do that. Some friends say gross things like that just to make you cringe. I say again, ew.
She just laughed at my discomfort. I couldn't keep the smile off my face as we walked together. We'd kept in touch, but this was my first time actually seeing her in a long time.
So, how's the unpacking going? I was going to call this weekend, but I figured you'd be busy. We're nearly done. Mom's been a total slave driver. It's kind of scary. I remember how she is. I actually thought about coming over to help, but, well, then I remembered how she is. You're the worst friend. Nah, I'm a great friend, and I'm super glad you're back. This is going to be a great year. I'm glad to be back too. Though, before anything else, I do have to warn you about...
I heard you were back in town. That voice. I shot Allie a look and she gave me an apologetic smile in return. So this is what she was going to warn me about.
Oh, that girl. That girl! Kara.
Kara, my other friend from Pine Hollow. Is this the frenemy?
Like, hope you manage to stick around for a full year. Wouldn't want you to end up getting lost again as soon as you get back into town.
Well, there goes the idea that people have forgotten about that. All right, y'all, we're saving the game. We save. Just in case we have to go back there. Hi, Artisan. Welcome, you stunner. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great day. Yes. Yes. Okay, y'all. I can stay silent or I don't intend to get lost anywhere. Listen, okay? I'm not going to stay silent. I'm going to clap back with this biatch, all right? She's sassing me, all right? We're not letting her sit there and walk all over us, all right? We're talking back. That's what we're doing. I don't intend to get lost anywhere.
Oh, I don't intend to get lost anywhere. If you want to, though, I can definitely give you directions. Yes, girl. Petty AF. Real.
Exactly, Artisan. Can't let her give too much sass. Gonna have to sass back. Exactly. All right? Otherwise, people know that they can pick on you and nothing bad will happen to them. All right? We have to be sassy. And then also, hopefully we get sassy enough that the game gives us a bad ending. From beside me, Allie snickered quietly, but I said nothing. I really couldn't believe Kara was still bitter over that incident. I got that my last disappearance had disrupted her little concert, and that she and her mother had always had big aspirations regarding her musical career. Nora has a surplus of sass, has to give some away to others for free. Exactly, Ashberry, exactly. Real. Exactly, Artisan says. Exactly. But it's not like I'd ruin things on purpose. Yeah, it's not our fault that we got abducted by aliens. How dare you blame me for that? Also, that was my life potentially at stake. How dare you be all petty and rude and mean to me because I almost died. You're the worst kind of person out there, Kara. Of course, that's why we're frenemies. That's why we don't get along. You have no empathy for your fellow human. You only care about you and your stupid music career. Listen, let me tell you what, Kara. No one cares. No one cares except you and yo mama, okay? I said what I said. Mic drop. You can step, girl, step. Get out of my face. I'm done with you. And I hadn't exactly asked everyone to ditch the concert and join the manhunt for me. Yeah, it wasn't our fault. We did nothing. We did nothing wrong. I knew it had to have sucked. But I had apologized, and I was getting tired of apologizing for something I couldn't even fully remember. Listen, girl. Listen, girl, Nora Rue. Don't
apologize for that. Don't apologize for that. That was not your fault. They should be apologizing to you, okay? For sassing you and blaming you in your moment of need. How dare they? How dare they? Like, anyway, they're pretty strict on attendance these days. The teachers aren't too keen on people who just take off for attention whenever they want. So you might want to be careful. Are you threatening me, Kara? How dare you? How absolutely dare you? No one is going to believe convenient amnesia either. Not this time. Listen, girl. Listen, girl. It's not my fault that I actually have magical amnesia, okay? How dare you make assumptions? I'm not faking it. I seriously have no idea what happened. It's not my fault. And second of all, I got abducted by aliens or something. Okay, Nora hasn't said that. Nora, Rue, whatever. But still, that's what I think happened, all right? It's not my fault.
She walked past with a glare aimed my way. I let out a long sigh. Well then, what a thing to come back to. My family had moved away before we'd had the chance to work things out, but maybe I should have tried to mend fences with her before we got back. Girl, listen, okay? It's a two-way street. She didn't try to mend the fence with you, and she's definitely not trying to mend the fence with you now. She just came out swinging being rude. That's what she did. Okay? Stop apologizing for things that are other people's fault. To be fair, I hadn't expected her to still be mad. As it was, that was just another thing to feel guilty for. Don't feel guilty about that. Stop it, girl, stop. This is not your fault. Real. At the very least, I was sorry that her relationship with Allie soured because of me as well. They clearly weren't exactly buddies anymore either. That was Kara's fault. That was Kara's fault. Real. I love imagining this game where Nora actually does talk and rant exactly like Rue. Allie would be consistently be in the background like popcorn. Sorry about that. I was just getting around to warning you about her. She's been cranky ever since she heard you were moving back. That biatch, real. Allie pulled me down the hall in the opposite direction of Kara. Yeah, get me away from that biatch. Listen, I'm gonna slap her around. If she comes in here and breathes the same air as me, I better not see her in this hallway again, because listen, I'm a slapper. I'm a slapper to next year. I'm a slap a biatch fast, okay? I'm a backhander like this, okay? I don't care if I get suspended for starting a fight. She started it, not me. This is not my fault. This is not Nora. Nora, listen. This is not our fault. This is Kara's fault. The whole thing. I blame Kara and that snooty, judgmental looking poster boy that's right there. Right there! Looking at us like he's judging us. How dare he judge us? We haven't even met him yet in this game, but he's already looking at us like he's judging us. He's already looking at us like he's judging us. How dare he? Both of y'all. Both of y'all in your judgmental faces. Yeah, exactly, Milky. 5 fingers to the face. Exactly. How dare you judge me? Don't apologize. There, that part. I can't believe she's mad. Normal people don't get mad about things like that. Exactly, Allie. Normal people have a modicum of empathy, okay? That girl has none, no empathy, all right? Listen, that girl can step. She better not breathe my air, okay? I'm gonna get a restraining order. Well, you know what she thinks? I was trying to mess things up for her intentionally because I was jealous, or whatever. That's ridiculous. Maybe, but she wasn't the only one. Half the town thought it was just some cry for attention. Remember? Oh, whatever. Anyone who knew you at the time should have known better. That includes Kara. That's when Spencer started hating me too. So maybe they know something that I don't.
Maybe. I guess they could. But listen, it wasn't your fault, girl. It was not your fault.
I gave her a tired smile.
Come on, perk up. You can't look all grumpy on your first day.
I know.
So what's your first class?
Literature, Mrs. Roberts.
Same. Besties, twinsies. Well, I guess we can't be twinsies because you're already twinsies with a real twin. But we could be twinsies by choice.
I was relieved. Being around someone who actually wanted me there might make my morning suck a little less.
You'll love her. Come on.
She dragged me the rest of the way to class. I immediately scanned for certain unfriendly faces, but I was relieved that neither Spencer nor Cara was anywhere to be seen. I did see some other familiar faces, though.
Oh, it's Danny and Elliot. Yes, hi, Danny and Elliot.
They were sitting on the far side of the room, surrounded by a group of friends who seemed to be taking great pleasure in prodding Elliot awake every time he nodded off.
He's definitely not a morning person. Real. I'm Elliot.
Elliot's purple hair and black clothes stuck out like a sore thumb among Danny and the rest of the clean-cut, sporty guys. I got the feeling Danny was the main reason he was in that group. Unlike Elliot, who looked out of place, Danny fit in perfectly. I bet Danny is popular. I couldn't help but wonder how those two had become friends. They were so different.
Okay, y'all. We're going to talk to Elliot, we're going to talk to Danny, or we're going to introduce ourselves to the teacher. Here's what I want to do. I want to see the blonde-haired dude. That's what I want to do. Because I already talked to Danny and Elliot last time I played this. We're going here. Okay. Look at that. I'm going to introduce myself to the teacher and see what options pop up with that. Sorry, guys. I'm ignoring you this time. You're still hot. Don't be mad.
I made a mental note to catch up with them both later. Before I could get much further into the class, Allie grabbed my arm and started dragging me toward where the teacher was waiting at the front of the room.
Come on, I'll introduce you before class starts.
I'm coming. Please don't rip my arm off. Allie introduced me to Mrs. Roberts, who gave me a quick rundown of what the class was studying at the moment. A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'd read it last year, actually, so catching up wouldn't be that difficult.
We have an empty seat at the front of the class and several at the back. You may take your pick.
She shot me a friendly smile. That made me feel quite at ease. I suspect that I'd like her.
And welcome back to Stone Circle, Miss Jitteroo.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I'm really glad to be back. Unfortunately, none of the seating options were near people I knew, which was a little disappointing. It looks like she has everyone paired up for work. The seat up at the front was next to a sort of grumpy-looking, well-dressed blonde. This guy right here. He didn't look extremely friendly.
No, he doesn't. He's judging us. Look at him. He's totally judging us. Look at him. How dare you look at me like that?
There were also 2 empty sets of paired desks at the back and one open seat next to a gloomy boy with messy brown hair. He didn't even look up as Mrs. Roberts explained my choices.
Let's look at this guy.
He looked preppy.
I bet he's wealthy.
He looks wealthy. He's got gold earrings on. How much do those cost?
Also, sir, can you open your mouth? Can we see your teeth? We need to see your teeth. Milky, that's true. He could just have resting bitch face. He could. But I think he's judging us. He's like, don't look at me. I cover my eyes with my hair. He does look like that. That's true. I bet he thinks he's too good for us, you know? That's why he's like, I don't even want to look at you. I'm going to cover up my face with my hair so I can't see you peasants. That's what he's thinking. Peasants! We're all peasants to him. I bet he's rich. We all judge What? Milky! How dare you? How dare you judge me? All of you. How dare you all judge me, okay? Eshberry, what if it turns out he's just socially awkward? Well, I guess that could be the case. And then maybe I might have slight regrets because maybe I judged him wrong. But listen, okay? It's not my fault. Also, he's totally judging me. He's a rich boy. He's looking at me like he's judging me, and I don't like it. Also, I'm very attracted to him. So why don't we try to sit next to him? And he's today's poster boy after all. Oh, I didn't misjudge him. He's a butt. He deserves to be kicked. Oh, excellent. Is he at Sunday? He is, isn't he? He's at Sunbun. We like Sundays. Did I tell you what my 3 favorite types of love interests are in Otome games? All right, y'all listen up, okay? I'm going to tell you again. Because I tell you like every stream. Number 1, sad boys. I love them. Number 2, sociopaths. Or other types of trash bandos, bad boys, dangerous guys. Guys that are a little off, you know, sus. That's number 2. And then number 3, Sundays. The rude boys, you know, rude. Mean. But it's a victory when you chip away at their spiky exterior and they fall madly, desperately in love with you and they blush all over the place. And then they're super sweet. But it was a victory because they were such assholes to get there. Real. Ignore the butthead blonde? No, Milky, I refuse to ignore the butthead blonde. I love the butthead blonde, okay? I'm obsessed with him. All right? He's my favorite husbando already. Also, I bet he's rich, okay? Also, you know, I bet he could take us on a nice date. We like dark hair or white hair anyway. I do have white hair today. That's true. That's very true. Okay, but listen, okay? What kind of monster do you think he is? Maybe I shouldn't say the word monster, you know. What kind of supernatural is this guy, okay? We already guessed. Here's what we said our guesses were. We said Elliot was an Esper. We said Danny was a werewolf. I can't see teeth, but we still have on the table old vampire or new vampire. We also have wizard on the table. We also have fae on the table. And something else I'm forgetting. Anyway, you think fae for blonde. You think he's a fae. Yeah, I could see that. Or maybe a wizard. I could see that. I could see that, Milky. You know what else I could see? I could see vampire. Not the new vampire, but the old vampire. I could see old vampire with him. You want to know why? Based on looks only, because we haven't actually talked to this man yet. We have not talked to him and we're judging him purely on looks and vibes. I think he's an old natural vampire because Exhibit A, look at what he's wearing. He's all preppy. I bet he's rich. He's got gold earrings on. How much do those gold earrings cost? How long have you had those gold earrings? Did you have those since like the pirate days? Were you a pirate in your past life? Are you hundreds of years old? He could be. He could be. Also, listen, okay? He's looking rather pale. You know? Like he doesn't like the sun. You know? We're going to have to observe this man and how he behaves outside. You know? If he dislikes the sunlight, that could be a hint. That could be a hint. He's not gloomy enough or pale enough. For a vampire, really? Really? Do you think Elliot is a vampire? You think Elliot's the vampire, don't you? I think Elliot's an Esper, though. Because of the purple, you know? Purple seems like an Esper type of a color. I think he's a vampire, an old vampire. Maybe he even bites other people and turns them into vampires. That's what I think. That's my guess. 100% I'm going vampire with this man. My money is on vampire, old vampire. All right, y'all. Ash is over there eating popcorn. Ash is eating popcorn. All right, Agile is going to start for some of you. And because Agile is about to start, I'm going to drink water. Water is good for us. Okay, Milky, we have to watch the teeth. Okay? We have to wait for this guy to smile. Because if he smiles, then he might have sharp fangs. And then we'll know for sure. Oh, thank you for redeeming Treat a Pup. Yes, let's do that. Let's do dog cam. Let's do that. Okay, listen, okay, Ash? Even the two vampires are teens. That means nothing to me, okay? Because you could have become a vampire when you were a teen. Oh, wait, that wouldn't... No, but see, listen, okay? I don't know when vampires start aging, so he could totally be hundreds of years old. Totally. Fun fact, but in this game, natural-born vampires have retractable fangs. Wait, so are you telling me I can't tell by his teeth? How dare you? How dare you trick me like that? It's time for dogs. Doggies. Hey, puppies. Do you want treats? The doggies want treats. Yes, here's high treats for doggies. Good girl, Penny. Good boy, Bo. Look how cute they are. Both of them right there. Here you go, Penny. And here you go, Bo. Aren't they so cute? Hi, puppy. Boop, boop. Yes, hi. You're so soft. There are two allies with pointy teeth. Neither one is the natural vampire. What? What? How could that be the case? How could that be true? Now I'm not going to be able to tell by their teeth. There are two allies with pointy ears. The ears are relevant. Ooh, that's a good... See, that he has pointy ears. Those ears look pointy to me. You know, they look a little elf-like. Oh, you're an Agile. Okay. All right. All right. Now you relish. You relish. Now you tell us. Okay, Milky, he has got pointy ears. Do vampires have pointy ears? What has pointy ears? He totally has pointy ears. He totally has pointy ears. Maybe you're right, Milky. You said he was a fae, didn't you? Or a wizard. Maybe you're right. Okay, but I'm still thinking vampire. I still think he's a vampire. But now I'm starting to think he could be the fae. Oh no. Oh no! I'm still going vampire, okay? Fae have pointy ears, they do. They do? Well, then maybe he is the fae. Okay, we're looking at ears now, okay? We're looking at ears. He's a fae. All right. All right, I'll go with that, Milky. I'll go with that. All right, that's our bet. Let's continue our story. Well, maybe, yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Oh my gosh. The people in Agile are like, what is she going on about? Like, real. Okay, moving on. Moving on.
There were also 2 empty sets of paired desks at the back, and 1 open seat next to a gloomy boy with messy brown hair. He didn't even look up as Miss Roberts explained my choices. The only other seat was on the second to the last row by the window. It was tempting, to be honest, but...
All right, y'all. We got another love interest over here. Look at this guy. Look at him. This guy has earthy colors. He has earthy colors. I think I recalled last time that he likes to read. He really liked Midsummer Night's Dream. I think. You know? That's what I recall. And he's got the earthy colors. All right. He's also has a darker complexion than does the pointy-eared blonde gentleman. However, he could have pointy ears that are covered by his hair. We cannot currently see his hair. At the top of his ears, his hair is covering his ears. You know? Milky. He could have pointy ears. That guy on the left. He could. He made things cold around him? I don't remember that. I forgot about that. Well, then that means he could be a wizard. I feel like the colors are a hint, though. You know? The pointy ears are visible on both pointy-eared characters. Oh! Okay, so then that means he doesn't have pointy ears. Got it. Got it. Well, then that means he's... Okay, Milky, that means he's... he could be, I guess he could be a vampire. Or he could be a wizard. Or... Okay, I'm still saying vampire for Blondie. For him, I'm going to say... Well, there's 2 types of vampires. There's old vampire and new vampire. Okay, here's what I think, okay? Milky says wizard. I don't think he's the wizard. Here's what I think, Milky. I think we're looking at the old vampire and the new vampire. Oh, wait, you're right. Or the Esper. No, I think the purple guy is the Esper. I think purple guy is Esper. I think Danny is werewolf. I think Blondie is vampire, old vampire. And I think he is new vampire. That's my guess now. That's what I think. Let's see who's right, me or you.
But the only other seat was on the second to last row by the window. It was tempting, to be honest, but... Hi, Jambi. Welcome, you stunner. It's your 2 favorite men. Oh, yes. You have excellent taste. I should probably take a seat that at least gives me a reading partner. But both options just look like so much fun. All right, y'all, we're going to save it. Because we have to save at every choice. Okay. And this time I'm going to sit up front because last time I chose back. Thank you for lurking and being supportive. You're a stunner and I appreciate you. Thank you, all of you stunners, whether you're chatting or you're lurking. I hope you're having fun. And I appreciate your presence in being here. I really do. I really do. Let's take a seat at the front. I didn't want to make a terrible impression on Mrs. Roberts, especially considering literature was one of my favorite subjects. I opted for the seat in the front and just hoped the blonde wasn't as cranky as he looked. I smiled a little nervously as I slid into the chair next to him. His eyes swept over me, lingering for just a few seconds on my face before he looked away. He didn't say anything or introduce himself. Y'all, he's totally an Angie sunbun.
friendly. Today we'll be continuing our reading of A Midsummer Night's Dream with your partners. Mark, if you would be so good as to share your book with Rue today. Mark, that's a nice name. I like that name. Also, it was spelled the ancient Roman way, M-A-R-C, short for Marcus. Yes, he could be an ancient old vampire from way back in the Roman days, and his full name could be Marcus something, you know? But then he shortened it to Mark to make it more modern, you know, to throw us all off. I heard an almost inaudible sigh from the boy next to me. To his credit, he tried for a gracious smile. He got an A for effort, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. It was a disingenuous smile. A fake smile! I sighed inwardly. Maybe I should have just taken the seat at the back. He was clearly rather put out at having to deal with me. But it was too late to pick up and move now. I just have to make the best of it. Mark pushed his playbook between us and turned his chair slightly toward mine. I hope you don't mind sharing with me for today. He sounded slightly less annoyed than he looked. Oh, maybe he's not judging us. I was hoping that was a good sign. I don't mind. He did do this with his eye. Mrs. Roberts would likely have your reading material ready for you by tomorrow. It's not a problem. I studied this play last year, so I think I still remember a good bit of it. Besides that, it was in my selection of Shakespearean works, and I'd read it multiple times. I see. I have some trouble retaining Shakespeare and pinning down the larger themes in his works, so perhaps you'll be willing to help me out with that. Since we started this unit, my scores haven't been as good as they could be. Oh, no problem. I love Shakespeare, so I'm really familiar with his style and all. I don't mind helping. Maybe I was wrong about him being cranky. He seems nicer than I expected. Oh, definitely nicer than I expected. I thought I had this man pegged. Maybe I was wrong about him. I see. In that case, I'll be looking forward to your expert opinions as we read. Yes. Something about the way he said that made it sound more like sarcasm. I chose not to respond. At least for now. No reason to make a bad impression on the first day. I nervously tucked my hair behind my ear and leaned closer to look at the book. Okay, y'all, I'm starting to get vibes. The vibes are getting sour. They're getting sour quick. Even if he's being sarcastic, he's not going to find a better study partner than me. So there, girl. As I leaned toward him, I couldn't help but notice the expensive-looking watch on his left wrist. He is totally rich. He's a snooty rich boy. He's totally an old vampire. Totally. Not to mention his clothes and, well, actually, everything he wore sort of reeked of money. That's what I said. That's what I said. For like 5 minutes, I went on a whole rant about that. There was nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Are you a sugar daddy? You know, when you're done being at sun? But now that I was leaning so close to him, I realized money apparently reeked of like really nice cologne. You know, the kind that made you want to bury your face in someone's neck and just melt into them, yeah. I don't totally want to make out with this man right here, right now. In the middle of class. No, don't tell Nora down, girl. I like this Nora. Noru, I like it. Oh, yes. Girl, get your flirt on. I tried to not let it distract me. Down, girl. Dash. You're not going to make a good impression on anyone if you start sniffing people on the first day. Listen, okay? How about you sniff him sneakily, you know? Just a little... Like, just don't be obvious about it. Just don't... Hi, Minty. Welcome, you stunner. Listen, y'all. Minty is also a streamer stunner and also does Otome games, I think, once a week. So if you're not following Minty already, Mintsune's self, go ahead and clicky on Minty's name and give her a follow. Okay, all right. Thank you for being here. Down, girl. You're not going to make a good impression on anyone if you start sniffing people on the first day. I had no idea how I was going to focus on reading when sitting next to him was apparently going to be a constant heavenly assault on my olfactory sense. Oh, a heavenly assault. Because it was hard not to pay attention to the cologne, at least from this distance. Mark was definitely from a wealthy family. He wouldn't be the only one at the academy. That was for sure. But most didn't wear their wealth so obviously. Then again, he probably didn't think he was being obvious about it or anything. I cleared my throat awkwardly. So, where did you leave off reading last time?
I was just beginning Act 3.
Then we'll just pick up there.
Naturally.
Come to think of it, I had to wonder why he was sitting alone. If he had so much trouble with this project, with this subject. Especially when there was another person in the class with no partner. Maybe Mark's original partner moved or something. As I shifted to look at the far page of text, my elbow brushed against Mark's arm. I had barely touched him, but he jumped slightly and jerked himself away, moving his arm awkwardly across his desk, as if to get it completely out of my airspace. How rude. We were like getting all like, ooh, he smells so good. And then he's all, get away from me. Sorry? What is that about? When I glanced up at him, his brows were knit together, eyes practically boring a hole into the book.
It's all right.
His tone was terse, and he didn't look up when he spoke. I raised an eyebrow as I studied him. Sure, some people weren't keen on physical contact, but that had been a little dramatic. Sure, some people weren't keen on physical contact, but that had been a little dramatic.
Yeah, real. Like, calm down, sir.
Alrighty then, moving on, I guess. So this is where Bottom and the others are rehearsing, right? Mark nodded, but said nothing else. A man of few words, I see. For the next 45 minutes, we took turns reading. He stumbled over the lines, frowning intensely at the playbook the entire time. He said he'd been looking forward to my expert opinions, but he didn't exactly give a chance for me to share them. He wasn't really unfriendly, but he was definitely keeping his distance, literally. Oh, maybe he's a kudere. You know, maybe he's not quite a tsundere. Maybe he's a kudere. From the moment I touched his arm,
Mark is thinking, how dare this Shakespeare fellow write something difficult for me to read? Oh, real. She's like, I kind of get that. I get that. That's real.
From the moment I touched his arm, he did his best to stay well out of my personal space. Or keep me out of his, maybe. Awkwardly so, actually. It was to the point of him noticeably leaning away from me while we read.
He's like this. That's how we're reading together. We're sharing a book, and he's like this. That's what happened. He's also dramatic. I love him. I love him so much. He's such a jerk. He does have a valid reason. Oh. Yeah. It's a good thing he's pretty. Real. Yeah, good thing you're pretty, dude. So sorry I offended you, Your Highness. I take back what I thought about your heavenly cologne, so there. The bell eventually rang, eliciting a sigh of relief from both of us. Mark immediately stood and slid his books into a leather satchel. He nodded stiffly and headed out of the class. I watched him go, curious about what his deal was. He was standoffish and acted like I'd nearly burned his flesh off just by brushing his arm. I watched him go, curious about what his deal was. He was standoffish and acted like I'd nearly burned his flesh off just by brushing his arm. Mysterious. Was he shy? Did he just not like commoners like myself? Maybe I smell weird to him. I resisted the urge to sniff my sleeve, just to be sure. She's like, do I smell funky? That's MC right now. Well, whatever. He was just one guy in one class. He could be as unsociable as he wanted. I checked my class schedule and groaned as I realized trigonometry was next. Ugh, I hate trig. I'd have to ask Allie and Mark later, knowing her. Oh, I'd have to ask Allie about Mark later. Knowing her, she probably has tons of juicy details to share. I was pretty sure trigonometry was on the same floor as literature, but it had been several years since I was here last, and I'd never actually came to the high school wing. Oh, I wasn't entirely sure where I was going. Why is it so crowded? I was jostled across the hall by the crowd, trying to aim for a nearly empty spot by an open door. I reached it at the same time as a pale-haired girl in a blue coat. We nearly ran into each other, but she caught me by the shoulders, preventing an embarrassing collision. Careful! Oh, I know this character. It's not a girl. You've misgendered this guy. Yes. You should have put silhouettes in the hall. She's like, it's so crowded. And then the background is empty. That's so funny. I didn't think about that. But yeah, you know, that's a good thought. Wait, that voice. That's a guy? I stared up at him somewhat in awe. He was so pretty. How could a guy be that pretty? He smiled down at me. Are you okay? It didn't mean to nearly crash into you. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm okay. I quickly straightened and tried to get my bearings. I ran into a really pretty man. I don't remember it being this. Watch it. Someone very nearly sheared my nose off with his backpack. I don't think they even heard me shout. Is it always this crowded between classes? Jeez. Hey, can I ask you where? Wish me luck. Before I could finish, the boy bounded away from the wall and oh no! I squeezed my eyes shut as he nearly bowled over two brunettes twice his size. I expected him to bounce off and go sprawling, but he somehow managed to dodge and bowl over someone smaller than him instead. Very ganky. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I watched him fuss over the girl for a few seconds before hurrying off down the hall, squeezing his way through the crowd. He seemed pretty popular. Everyone waved and called to him as he bounced through. It didn't take long to learn that his name was Corvin, if only because people kept shouting it as they said hello. Bo is like, this is the part that made me puke before. I hate that guy in blue. This is the part where Bo puked. This is where I had to stop. Yep, that's what happened.
It didn't take long to learn that his name was Corvin, if only because people kept shouting it as they said hello. That's an unusual name. As I got ready to brave the tide of students myself, I noticed a book had fallen in the middle of the hallway, right where Corvin had run into that girl.
Oh, wait, you're right, Milky. We got to the part of the motorcycle. You're right. Yes, we did.
Oh, shoot! Did he drop that? No one else appeared to have noticed it there. I hesitated for a moment. I didn't want to just leave it, but I was really doubtful of my ability to get across the hall and pick something up off the floor without getting steamrolled by the crowd. I did not see a club room. I did not.
I played this game for like 8 hours, maybe more. And I got so distracted, I did not get to whatever the club room is. That's what happened.
And I was going to be late if I waited until the hall cleared to get it. Still, it wasn't going to get damaged if I just left it in the middle of the floor. I should probably either return it to Corvin or get it to the office.
You do have reactions coming. You have reactions coming. Okay, we have to save it. Do.
We save our game.
We save. I think we're here. Okay. Right? Or maybe we're over here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think we're okay. I had to think about that.
Wait until the hall clears a bit and then pick it up, or dive into the sea of students and hope for the best.
I want a bad ending, but maybe this isn't about a bad ending. Maybe this helps us choose a route. You know what? I'm not going to help this man. I'm not going to put my life at risk and get trampled by students because he can't control himself. Okay? I'm not going to fawn over this man like everyone else does, okay? All right? I'm not going to dive for this thing, hope for the best. No, I'm not doing that. I'm waiting till the hall clears. And if it's gone, it's gone.
I decided to wait until the hall cleared a little before attempting to retrieve the book. It's not like the world would end if I was a little tardy for one class. Besides, it was trigonometry. Not like I was eager to go there anyway. I winced as an unwary student kicked the book around a corner and at the end of the lockers. How dare you? How dare you? But it wasn't going to be ruined just from that, but still. Willy Wonka giving you the Orly look meme. What's that? What's the Orly look meme? I don't know this meme. I don't know it. You're going to have to put a link in the chat so I can click on it. Anyway, just giggling at you turning down Corvin. It's the meme where Willy Wonka's like this. Like, tell me more about that. I'm totally turning down Corvin. 100% I'm turning him down. Okay, listen. All right? He needs to calm down. I get that he's ganky. Okay? I get that we have like the same color hair. I get it. I do. But listen, Corvin, you can calm yourself down and everyone else is going to bow down at your feet because you're cute and pretty and whatever. But I'm not falling for it, okay? Unless you put a magic spell on me. I'm not falling for it. It wasn't going to be ruined just from that, but still. Should probably just go get it before someone does ruin it somehow. Fortunately, with the passing period half over, the crowd was thinning out pretty quickly. Was it a textbook? When it looked safe, I made a beeline for the book. I managed to avoid getting too banged up on the way over, but some big athletic type did accidentally whack me in the face with his backpack.
How dare? How come this keeps happening to our poor MC? She gets hit in the head with a football. She gets smacked in the face with a backpack. Why does this always happen to us?
He didn't even notice. I skittered over to the book and nudged it with my toe.
What the heck is with this creepy thing? I don't remember if you get to see the book in this version, so you may never know what kind of book it is. What? How could you do that to us, Esh? How could you? Oh no, I see it. There it is. I see it right there. It looks real creepy. Brain damage leading to poor romantic decisions. That's real, Milky. Real. Ash was instantly proven wrong. That's super real. That's exactly what happened. You were proven wrong by your own game. Instantly. It took like 0 seconds for you to be proven wrong.
I bent down to pick it up, seriously wondering about this Corvin guy's taste in reading material.
Y'all, I think I know what Corvin is. I have no doubt in my mind, okay? Corvin is the wizard. Okay, you want to know why I think Corvin is the wizard? Exhibit A, that book right there. Right there, this is the wizard 100%. There's no way that Corvin is not a wizard if he's running around with that book right there. Right, Milky? Right? Brain damage is the only reason half these Otome heroines would date any of these guys. Oh, wow. Okay, look, there's 2 reasons, Esh. Okay? 1, brain damage. Fine. I'll concede that. 2, hotness, okay? 3, some of us like trash. All right? Okay? Or is that part of brain damage? Listen, Corvin is the wizard. 100%. I pegged him. I pegged him as the wizard. I know I'm right. Don't try to convince me otherwise, okay? If I'm wrong, I'm going to be freaked out. I'm going to freak out. I might start screaming. If I'm wrong about Corvin, I might literally scream in all of your ears. All of your ears. Liking trash is a direct result of the brain damage. Says both of you. Both of you! You are in agreement. Are you judging me right now? You too. Are you judging me because I love trash? Are you saying I have brain damage? How dare you? How dare you? Also accurate, but still, how dare?
I bent down to pick it up, seriously wondering about this Corvin guy's taste in reading material. What kind of book even is this? Real? Maybe some kind of fantasy novel.
Girl, it's a book of spells.
He's a witch. I probably should have taken it straight to the office, but I was kind of curious about it.
Don't shake hands. How dare you? Both of y'all, how dare?
I was about to crack open the cover and flip through the pages when, oh, that's mine. Startled, I looked up to see Corvin standing there with a surprised look on his face. Oh, you came back. I saw you drop this earlier, and I was going to return it, or just drop it by the office. For some reason, with the way he was looking at me, I felt like I'd done something wrong. What if it was a weird diary or something?
It could be. Yeah, I guess.
He didn't really seem mad, but he was definitely eyeing me pretty intently. So, you can see, you saw me drop it?
Yeah, obviously. Should I not have? Corvin.
Yeah, I think it was when you ran into that girl earlier.
Oh yeah, that's probably right. I didn't realize I dropped it. Sorry to trouble you.
It's not a big deal or anything.
Oh.
Can I have it back now?
Sure. Sorry.
I handed the book over, and he shoved it into his backpack. I kind of wanted to ask about it because it looked really weird, but I just let it go. Anyway, thanks for the help. I'll definitely see you later. Oh yeah, what was your name?
Rue. I'm Rue.
I'll remember that. I'll see you later.
See you. And with that, he disappeared down the hall.
What was that about?
Nothing really. Someone just dropped a book. I see. And you, being Captain Bookworm, had to step in and return it. Something like that. Captain Bookworm? Lame. I decided to let that one go. Anyway, can you help me get to Trig? I have no idea where I'm going.
I used to have dreams about that when I was in school and in college and high school and stuff. I would have nightmares at night that I missed class or I missed a whole bunch of classes because I couldn't find the room, and I'd be walking down the hallways looking for the room I was supposed to be in, and no matter where I went, I even in the dream would go so far as to go into a room and be like, oh, this is it, and I'd sit down in the desk, and then it turns out, psych! It's not actually the correct room. And then at the end of the dream, I would fail. I would fail the test and flunk out. It happened a lot. I had that dream a lot. Esh, I still have the one where it's the end of the year and I realize I missed 90% of the classes all semester. Seriously, I still have that dream too. I hate that dream. School is so stressful. Real.
Anyway, can you help me go to Trig? I have no idea where I'm going.
Your sense of direction still sucks. Come on. My next 2 classes were fairly boring. At least when it came to academic content. When it came to social interaction, though, it was definitely a different story. First of all, Corvin was in trigonometry. He didn't seem to notice me at all, though. Not that I was surprised. You have nightmares of people being hunted down and skinned? Wow. That's horrible. You know, Milky, sometimes I have terrible nightmares too, but mine aren't quite like that. Mine are more usually about things like giant spiders. I have giant spider nightmares. Often, frequently. I've also had dreams where like I was running, you know, from somebody. Someone's chasing me and I have to get away. And I'm like running and swimming and climbing and jumping, you know, from something. That's happened too. Mostly giant spiders. Literally. I have woken up screaming because of giant spiders. Jambi, meanwhile, I just dream about work and forgetting to get work done. Oh my gosh, I have that dream too. I hate that dream. That dream sucks. You had a giant spider nightmare? You did, Milky? Oh, yes, Ash, exactly. Nightmares are spider-oriented. Giant spiders are like one of the most terrible thoughts that you could possibly think. Of course they're going to be nightmare fuel. One time I dreamed that evil Pokemon were taking over the world. Wow. That could be really entertaining or scary. It could go either way, evil Pokemon. You had to work with the 10th Doctor to defeat them. I love you. Spiders the size of horses. God, that's horrible. Horrible. Why did you play lore, Esh? My dog attacked a Squirtle with a machine gun in that dream. Wow. Wow. That is true love. That is, listen, no one loves us like our dogs love us, okay? Dogs love us more than anything and anyone ever. Dogs love us even more than yanderes love us. And not in a weird way, you know, it's dogs, okay? Dogs are wonderful. And then it wasn't a nightmare anymore because, you know, you weren't getting attacked. Your dog jumped in and saved the day with a machine gun. Listen, every time my dogs bark at nothing, I'm convinced that this is what they're thinking in their little dog brains. I just saved your life. They heard a butterfly farting in the wind. They started barking all crazy and everything. And then they were like, see that? I scared it away. I saved your life. You have no idea, human. Why are you telling me to be quiet? I'm protecting you. Oh, that was your true love for Jambi. You played her game with a giant... Jambi, you have a game with a giant spider in it? Excuse me? What? Wait, which one? I still have games I need to catch up. Is it on the new one? Jambi, you put a giant spider in it? How dare you? I need to catch up on my games, y'all. I need to catch up. It's a she? Is it half spider, half human? You know? Or is it just like full spider and you gave it a name? Because how dare you? Not everything is as it seems. Okay, I need to finish reading your game. You're not actually bothered by art of spiders or CGs and movies and stuff until it happened in Jambi's game. And then you had nightmares. I also banish spiders. Real, Milky. Driders are half spiders, half people. Oh. What a horrible affliction to have, to be half spider. That would suck. I had definitely been right about him being popular. He was surrounded by others before class started. The crowd around Danny in literature was nothing compared to the amount of people vying for Corvin's attention. It was a little weird, actually. Why is this man so popular? I mean, I get why Danny is popular, but why is Corvin so popular? I'll tell you why, y'all. He's a wizard. He's a wizard, Harry. He's putting a spell on everyone. But listen, it doesn't work on me, okay? I can see his magic book, A, and B, his spells don't work on me. You know what that means? That means I'm special. I'm magical. Obviously, okay? Also, I'm the MC. So that means I'm automatically special. On top of that, he was a complete, total klutz. Real. He dropped his pencil a dozen times, tripped over his own feet, and at one point, somehow landed on another student's desk, face first. At most schools, he probably would have been a laughingstock, but not so much here. In fact, the other students sort of fawned over him every time he hurt himself. 3 different people offered to escort him to the nurse for an ice pack after he fell. Pretty people problem is real. If you're good looking enough, people will do all kinds of stuff for you, I guess. He was kind of an airhead, but I guess he must have been really, really nice to have that many friends and admirers. Really, girl? That's your conclusion? It was probably cynical to think it might just be the way he hemorrhaged compliments. Corvin's antics aside, Spencer was in both trig and chemistry. I couldn't help but wonder how having 2 classes with me must have impacted how good a day he was having. And if watching him alternate between glaring and pretending I didn't exist wasn't bad enough, listen, Spencer, don't glare at me like that. How dare you? Okay, quit looking at me like that. Stop. Kara was also in chemistry with us. How is it that we have all of our enemies together in the same classes? How dare all of our enemies? I'm sure there's a very normal and not at all strange and supernatural reason for this, says Esh in quotations. Yeah, Nora is totally like, yeah, it's not supernatural. Yeah. All of our enemies are here. The moment she saw me and gave me a smug little grin, I knew something was up. So I was a little apprehensive going into class. It was sad we hadn't managed to patch things up, but I was ultimately okay with her not liking me. Yeah, real. I don't care if she doesn't like me, okay? Listen, I don't like her, and I don't care if she doesn't like me. And also, she better not breathe in my air. Listen, Kara, you need to step back, okay? Get out of my face. You're way too close to me, and I want nothing to do with you. I'm done with you. It wasn't okay with her trying to pick fights and cause problems just for the sake of doing it, though. How dare you? And it didn't take long to work out what she was up to. Oh God, what are you up to? I hadn't even gotten to my desk when 2 people who introduced themselves as Luke and Emery practically set up camp nearby to pepper me with questions about the whole childhood disappearing act. I didn't remember either of them, so I didn't think they were students who were at the school when it happened. And yet, they'd definitely gotten a pretty detailed version of what had happened from somewhere. Girl is gossiping and spreading lies about us. That's what girls like that do. Damn it, Kara.
So, do you really not remember what happened to you while you were missing?
Shut up, Luke. I heard you were attacked by a bear or something. Shut up, Emery.
Someone said you were the only witness to a murder out there, but none of the other victims were ever found. Do you think you blocked it all out because of the trauma?
Is it true the police questioned you guys because they thought you tried to kill each other?
I shot Spencer a quick look at that one.
Is that how you got injured or whatever?
Spencer was gritting his teeth, glaring at me.
Spencer, are you gossiping about me? You should keep that to yourself. Don't talk to people about that. That's none of their business. Stop gossiping about me everywhere you go. How dare you? And no, Penny, you cannot have any more snackage. We're done. We're done, princess. I love you, but we're done with that.
Ugh, not good. I could practically see the red flashing light above his head declaring a level 7 nuclear event was imminent. Is there a way we can just not talk about this?
Poor Rue. Poor Nora Rue. Come on. We're just curious.
I sighed, trying to figure out a diplomatic way to tell them to shut the heck up before my brother had a meltdown. It was a really long time ago.
And some of y'all are in ad jail now. All right.
It was a really long time ago. We just got back into town and are trying to settle in.
This poor girl. Everyone's been talking smack about her behind her back. That's awful.
There isn't much to tell anyway, but I think we'd rather not talk about it all the same.
Everyone, please take your seats.
At the teacher's words, everyone reluctantly retreated, leaving Spencer and me alone.
Yep, we did bribes. Exactly, Milky. That's why I keep those things on my desk in here. Because I have found that the number one most effective way to placate Penny is bribes.
Exactly. I was trying to look anywhere but at him. I honestly hadn't expected anyone to bring this stuff up again. My gaze fell on Kara, who was still giving me that same smile. Of course, if someone was intentionally trying to bring it all up again, then it was no wonder people were interested. I sighed. Trying to stir rumors up using that, of all things, was literally the most pointless endeavor. Fortunately, by the time class released, everyone seemed more interested in getting to the cafeteria before the lines got too long. Or maybe the average student's attention span wasn't long enough to remember that Spencer and I had an interesting backstory. Regardless, the class emptied quickly, which left me to find my way to the cafeteria alone. Poor girl. Fortunately, it didn't take me too long. I just had to follow the smell of old hot dogs and sweaty feet. Gross. Ew. Appetizing. Allie was nowhere in sight, so I just grabbed a sandwich and found an empty spot to eat alone. Yay. I barely sat down when someone else plunked a tray of food down directly across from me. I looked up, hoping to see Allie, but instead saw this messy-haired boy from literature. Oh, hi. Oh, what was his name again? Sorry. This is where I usually sit. They don't like it if I sit somewhere else. They? Who's they? Don't tell me it's the voices. Maybe he's being bullied. Hmm? You mean your friends? Are they coming too? Should I move? He looked down at me with gentle brown eyes and a serious expression. No one else is coming. Then who are the they you were referring to? I didn't ask that though, and he just sat down quietly and started eating without looking at me. Awkward. I studied him surreptitiously while trying to eat. He was a little disheveled and gloomy. He definitely seemed shy, or maybe just socially awkward. I wasn't sure which. He definitely wasn't much for talking, though. A heavy silence descended on us. I lamented silently about how much I hated awkward silences. So, I'm Rue. We had one class together, so it couldn't hurt to at least properly introduce myself, right? William. When he looked up, I was startled by the sad look on his face. It's good that you didn't sit by me in class. You shouldn't sit here tomorrow either.
What? What? Take a drink, y'all. MC said, what?
What the heck? Who says that kind of thing? Why would he even say something like that out of nowhere? I couldn't help but wonder if it was because of Kara stirring things up. Who knew what all she had been saying to people, that biatch? How do I even respond to that? I just looked away, biting my lip to stop myself from saying something unnecessarily angry. I guess I won't. I sat silently for a few minutes before I stood abruptly and grabbed the tray with my sandwich. I wasn't sure why people were so intent on being jerks to me on my first day real. But I wasn't really in the mood to put up with it anymore. We're done. We're done with this. But if I stayed, saying something unnecessarily angry was inevitable.
That's what I just said. We're done.
I'm done. Bye. William jumped to his feet. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. I just... With a sudden jolt, my lunch tray flipped out of my hands.
Once again, calamity strikes poor MC. We get hit in the head with a baseball or a football. Everyone's being rude to us. Second, somebody smacks us in the face with their backpack. And now our food is getting flipped out of our hands. Bread and sandwich guts went flying everywhere as it cartwheeled through the air before slamming into the floor and skidding about 10 feet. That sucks. I stared after it in shock. I hope that wasn't hot lunch that you had to pay money for. Okay? We need second lunch now, and we didn't bring extra lunch money.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. You should stay away from me.
Wow, he's awfully moody. MC is gonna get home looking like she was in a war. Cuts, scrapes, band-aids on her face from getting knocked around. Like real. Seriously, this poor girl. No wonder her dad's gonna be so upset. Like,
you look like you've been through hell.
Yes, actually, Father, I have been through hell at school. You would be amazed at how much terrible things have happened to me already on the first day. You think he's the Esper, Milky? You think that's the Esper? I'm
sorry, I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. You should stay away from me.
If he was the Esper, if he has psychic powers, I don't know. I don't think he's... I still think... Well... I guess he could be an Esper. Yeah. I guess he could be.
He picked up his things and fled the room, leaving me standing there gaping at the mess on the floor.
He hadn't hit the tray, and I definitely hadn't thrown it. What just happened? Oh, wait, that wasn't an accident? Milky, I think you're right. Did he do that? Oh, how dare he? Did he use his magic powers to make us lose all of our lunch? Was that punishment for sitting next to this guy? How dare he? The entire cafeteria was dead quiet. I could practically feel their eyes on me. Even Spencer was staring from across the room. Our eyes met, and it's not like I was expecting him to ask if I was okay or anything, but he just calmly went back to eating as if he didn't know me. I left the mess on the floor and ran out of the cafeteria, already so over the day. Nothing was going the way that I thought it would. The rest of my day was uneventful. I only had to talk about my incidents in, well, every single class. I mean, it was the same battery of questions every time. Did I really lose my memory? What did I really see in the woods? Why did Spencer get questioned by the police? Did he really get attacked by an animal, or was it me? Did I see a murder? Was I abducted by aliens? That's my current theory. I still couldn't believe someone actually asked me the last one in a non-ironic way. I made a mental note to stay far, far away from that kid. Listen, Rue. Listen, Rue. Nora. I am that kid. Okay, don't stay far away from that kid's onto something. You don't remember what happened to you. You have magical amnesia. It could be aliens. It could be. I couldn't avoid talking about it every time. Some students were relentless. Eventually, I just settled into the same rote answers. Yes, I really lost my memory. No, I don't know what I saw, but I was pretty sure it wasn't a murder. The police were trying to cover all their bases, but Spencer had nothing to do with it. Are you sure about that? He really was attacked by something, but it wasn't me. And as far as I was aware, no aliens were involved. It could have been aliens. Most people opted to leave me alone when they realized they weren't going to get any juicy details out of me, so otherwise there were no major problems. At any rate, no one else decided to be blatantly rude to me. Well, at least there's that. What I really wanted to do was grab Allie and talk to her about what happened at lunch. But I didn't get a chance. I mean, she knew that guy better than I did. At the very least, she could tell me if it was just me or if they treated everyone that way. Okay, Milky, I'm going to agree with you about the last dude being the Esper. But we didn't have any afternoon classes together, and I hadn't seen her in the hall either. It was a little lonely, to be honest, especially since the day was such a mixed bag. I knew I'd settle in. I knew the rumors would die out no matter how much Kara or anyone else tried to stir them up. There was just nothing to really talk about anyway. I knew first days were usually kind of rough. Real, that's true. But I couldn't deny I'd been hoping for better. Oh, poor Rue. Poor Rue. My head was pounding by the time I made my way to my locker and dumped the last of my newly assigned textbooks in it. Listen, I call her Rue because I named her Rue Jitteroo because I'm Rue Jitteroo, but her original name is Nora. So now that I think about it, Rue is perfect. I stood quietly for a moment, head leaning against the side as I geared myself up for the tense ride home. Hey, Rue! I turned hesitantly at the sound of my name, but sighed in relief when it was only Elliot, someone I doubted was going to pick a fight or interrogate me. Elliot, hi! I tried to give him a tired smile. Whoa, you okay? You look, kind of pale. Are you feeling sick? I'm fine. Are you sure? You look kind of anemic. I'm not anemic, just tired. It was a long day. What did I say about him? What did we say he was? He's talking about being anemic. Look at his ears. Are they pointy? I can't tell. Yeah. I heard, a lot of people were talking about you and your brother all day. You think he's a vampire? I can't remember. Oh no, I think I said he was the Esper before. But now I agree with you, Milky. I said he was the Esper before, but now I think the other boy was the Esper, which means he's not the Esper, and I don't think he's the old vampire because I think Rude Boy Blondie over there is the old vampire. So he's the new vampire. He's pale. He talks about blood levels and he sleeps a lot. And he's a night owl. He doesn't like to be up in the day. You're right. You're right. Okay, Milky, I could go with that. All right, fine. Okay, this is the new vampire. That's our guess. I'm with you. I'm with you. That's new vampire. Blondie is old vampire. And then who did we say was Faye? Who's the Fae? Corvin? No, Corvin's the wizard. Corvin has to be the wizard. And then brown-haired boy, he's Esper. And then Danny is werewolf. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Yeah, I heard, a lot of people were talking about you.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, I heard, a lot of people were talking about you and your brother all day.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I slammed my locker door and hefted my book bag to my shoulder. I also saw what happened at lunch.
Yeah,
About that.
it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not mad at anyone over that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't a big deal.
Oh, okay. Just don't take it personally, okay? Everyone here has their stories. Know what I mean?
I suppose I should know that better than anyone.
And don't worry about people talking about you. They'll stop soon. Probably. Oh, encouraging.
Well, I couldn't complain. He was trying to cheer me up, and that was sweet.
I'm sure they will.
I rubbed my head and gave him another exhausted smile.
I should go. The evil twin is probably already waiting impatiently for me.
Okay. I have a club meeting I need to go to. I really hope you feel better.
We gotta save it. We gotta save it. Don't let me forget. Saving saves. Saving saves. Saves lives. Okay, we saved it.
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me or have fun at your club.
We're gonna do this one. Have fun at your club, I think. Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay.
Have fun at your club. Okay, well, have fun at your club then.
Maybe I should try to enter a club too.
It's not really the sort of club you have fun at usually, but I'll try.
He waved and darted off down the hall toward the stairwell. What sort of club isn't meant for fun? I wondered if the office had a list of clubs I could register for. Of course, I'd have to coordinate with Spencer or get a ride from someone I might want to wait until I was a little more settled in, but it might be nice to get involved in something during my last year. At any rate, I made my way outside, keeping an eye out for Spencer as I went. I wasn't looking forward to the drive home at all, but this time I'd just stay quiet. I don't think I can handle another argument today. My nerves are already pretty frayed. I jogged across the front lawn toward the parking lot in spite of my head. If anything, Spencer complaining that I'd made him wait would just make my headache worse anyway. Oh, yes, I remember we have a terrible headache. I immediately spotted the car, and it looked like Spencer was already waiting. I picked up the pace. When I got home, I was just gonna go upstairs and immediately crash. That's what I would do too, real. And sleep, real. Wait, what is he doing? I was still at least 20 yards from him, so why was Spencer already backing out of the parking space? Does he not see me? I waved one arm as I ran, wondering if he thought I was getting a ride with Allie or something. I froze mid-wave as he pulled out of the space, looked right at me, and drove off. How dare you? You suck. Are you kidding me? I very nearly threw my backpack on the ground and had a tantrum right there in full view of everyone. Yanking my phone out, I sent him a flurry of angry texts. What are you doing? You looked... Oh, that's me. What are you doing? You looked right at me. Hello? Are you coming back to get me? Stop ignoring me. 10 minutes later, there was still no answer. I tried calling twice, but he didn't pick up. Tears of frustration stung my eyes as I clutched my backpack so hard the strap cut into my hand. He wasn't coming back. He just left me there while looking right at me. You would do some serious sabotage to Bro, too? Real. So would I. How dare he? Rude. How could he do that? The parking lot was rapidly emptying, but I was not going to stand there and cry in front of everyone. Trembling with fury, I stormed away to find a place to calm down, think, and plot how I was going to murder my brother in his sleep. Real, that part. Exactly like he would be tormented for weeks. There will be revenge, little brother. After I figured out how I was going to get home, I could text Mom, but she and Dad were both at work. Grandma and Grandpa would be too busy, too. Yeah, I'm mad, too. It is good writing. Exactly. I flopped down under a tree near the back corner of the parking lot. Allie said she had a club meeting, so I didn't think she would give me a ride unless I waited for her to finish, and I didn't know anyone else well enough to ask. I bit my lower lip hard and looked up quickly, trying to blink away the tears before they spilled over, but there was no one nearby, and unless someone walked right past me, I didn't think I'd be easily seen. My brother sucks. He's horrible. Everyone hates me at school except Allie. I keep getting hit in the head. I didn't get to eat lunch. I'm so hungry and I'm tired and I'm beat up. And I tried to sit next to a hot guy during class and he judged me the whole time. I finally gave in and buried my face in my knees. And now I can't even go home because my stupid brother. Sobbing quietly, half from anger and half from sheer disappointment. The whole day had just kind of sucked, and I felt stupid for being so glad to be back. Are you crying? Shoot! Don't let them see your tears. I looked up, hastily wiping at my face as I wondered who was crashing my little pity party. A super tall guy in a leather jacket was standing nearby looking down at me. I hadn't even heard him walk up. Oh, hi. Oh, y'all, look, pointy ears. Pointy ears. Ugh. Heterochromia. Dark, moody vibes. Hi. Are you a bad boy? You look like one. Y'all, what are the types that we haven't seen yet? What haven't we seen yet? Okay, we claimed, I don't think he's a vampire, okay? We have old and new vampire. I don't think he's one of those. We have Esper. I guess he could be that. We have wizard. I don't think he's the wizard. Fae. Milky, you said Fae have pointy ears. He does have pointy ears. He could be the Fae. He could be the Fae. What was the other thing? I can't remember. I think he's the Fae. That one's the Fae. That's what I think. Hi, handsome stranger. I hadn't even heard him walk up. Oh, I like your style. Yes, I do. I like your pointy ears. Do you have fangs? Do you have pointy teeth? I'm fine. I rubbed the back of my hand across my eyes, feeling pathetic. There's no way he'd believe I wasn't crying. Oh wait, the last one was werewolf. I don't think he's the werewolf. I think Danny is the werewolf. That's my thought. Really? I nodded vigorously, but from his tone, it was obvious he knew it wasn't true. He scoffed. Pointy ears! He's the Fae! I bet you anything. And he's not pale like the other guy is that you said was the Fae. You said Blondie was the Fae. I think he's the Fae. His pointy ears. Heterochromia. You know? I bet it's magic heterochromia.
Whatever. He turned away and walked to a motorcycle parked nearby. Ugh, I can't believe someone caught me crying. How middle school of me. I watched him set the helmet on the seat and stow his backpack. I probably shouldn't have stared, but he was kind of rude, so I was going to stare all I wanted. Even if I was going to revert back to middle school with my behavior, I might as well take it all the way. He paused and glanced my way again. Listen, we had a bad day, okay? We're going to stare at the hot guy. I watched him grab something and stalk back over. He tossed something square and rectangular to me. I barely managed to catch it. Tissues. Oh, he's sweet. Thanks. Okay, maybe he's actually a nice guy. He shrugged. Is there a reason you're sitting back here crying? I said I'm not crying. Yes. We have to save it. We have to save it. Right here. Yep. I said I'm not crying. I mean, obviously I had been, but I like to stick to my guns. His lips curved up slightly and smirked down at me. I could say that I'm the president. It wouldn't make it true. Touché. Thanks for the tissues, I mean. Not for badgering me about crying. I wasn't badgering. I was asking. But it's not a problem. I'm Ewan, by the way. That was an interesting name. Ewan. Rue. He just nodded and crouched next to me. I don't recognize you. I'm new, sort of. I used to live here a few years ago, but I just moved back. Ah, you're that girl. I gave him a questioning look, but he just shrugged. I overheard some kids talking about a new girl. Something about some disappearances a few years back. Oh, again? That's me. I see. Well, you look more normal than I expected. What's that supposed to mean? Hey, I was just about to leave. Are you waiting for a ride? Do you need a lift or something? Oh, I don't, well, my brother ditched me, so I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to get home. I'll give you a ride if you don't mind riding a motorcycle. Oh, no, I don't mind. I haven't ridden one ever before. It's a first. Well, I'm not going to force you. I bit my lip. I shouldn't accept a ride from someone I didn't know, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone else would come get me. That part. We're accepting it. We're accepting the offer, and I'm saving the game. There's no way I'm texting my mom. There's no way that I'm texting Allie when I have the option to accept the ride from the hot motorcycle guy. Why would I not do that? Real. Okay, empty save. All right, Ewan, take me away. Yeah, you know what? I'll take you up on that. I live out in Raven's Glade. He almost smiled, but not quite. I live there too. He stood and helped pull me to my feet. Dang, he really was tall, really tall. The top of my head barely reached his chin. And that was with heels. We're wearing heels. That was definitely a time. Nowadays, people are like over heels, you know. I have an extra helmet you can use. Oh, thanks. Mom would definitely kill me if I showed up on the back of a motorcycle with no helmet. Yep. Then she'd probably kill you too. She hates making people feel left out. Real. That elicited a smirk. I'll keep it in mind. I watched him pull down 2 pegs on either side of the bike. I'm guessing my feet go there. That's so cute, that little motorcycle emoji. His smirk grew wider as he tossed the helmet. You get an A+. That bit gets really hot, so don't touch it. Anything else? Hold on. Lean when I lean.
and try not to fall off.
Simple, to the point. I like it.
He climbed on the bike and patted the seat behind him as he put the helmet on. I climbed on carefully, mostly occupied with how I should hold on to him. Yes. Oh, it's an excuse to have to hold on to the hot guy. That, and wondering why his helmet got a cool visor thing, but my face was bared for all of the bugs in the world to splat onto. Yeah, how come I don't have a shield on my face? I hope he didn't mind being my bug shield, because I was definitely going to hide my face behind him. Yep. Hold on. We're going. Right. It's just more reasons to have to canoodle with this man while we're hanging for dear life on the back of his motorcycle. I placed my hands awkwardly on his hips as he started the bike, and we were off. It was cold. It was already well into fall anyway, but it was so much colder on the back of a motorcycle. Not the canoodling. Fortunately, our neighborhood was fairly close to the school. I quickly found myself grateful he was so much bigger than me. In addition to shielding me from the bugs, he also blocked some of the wind. Not much, but I suspected it was colder sitting up front than behind. I just held onto him tightly and hoped the wind wouldn't permanently freeze my hands to his waist. That would have been awkward. An understatement. Yes, it would have been, girl, real. Also, I'm wearing a cute outfit today, but no one can see it. Why do I bother? 15 minutes and a short stop for specific directions later, and Ewan was pulling into my driveway. Spencer's car was there, but so was Dad's. By the time Ewan killed the engine, Dad was already on the front porch, eyes wide. I dismounted carefully, only narrowly avoiding falling on my butt. Nice dismount. I'd give it an 8.5 for style. He's got a little bit of a sense of humor, doesn't he? I'm not going to tell you to shut up, but only because you were nice enough to give me a ride. Dad swept me into a bear hug that muffled the rest of that. Thank God. You weren't answering your phone. Well, I couldn't, really. Oh, this is Ewan, a classmate. He gave me a ride. Dad offered his hand, though he didn't look too happy about the motorcycle. Ewan took off his helmet. Dad shook his hand and gave me... Ewan took off his helmet. Dad shook his hand. And he gave Dad a... Why can't I read the sentence? The one tragedy about doing Mark's route instead of Ewan's is not getting to meet Ewan's father. Because bro is a thing. What? Ewan's father? Oh. Am I on track for Mark's route? I wonder. I wonder whose route I'm aiming at. Dad offered his hand, though he didn't look too happy about the motorcycle. Ewan took his helmet off, shook Dad's hand, and gave him a surprisingly polite nod. It's nice to meet you, sir. Milky wants to go for Ewan because Mark is too blonde. Why are you judging him, the man, just for being blonde? Okay, I like him because he's snooty and rich and rude. Okay? I also like motorcycle boy. Okay, no, Esh. Actually, it's a specific choice. Oh. You will have access to Mark. Yes, I will. I made a specific choice. Oh. I think right now you'll have access to 3 possible routes. Oh, so Mark is one of them. Is Ewan one of them? And then I wonder who else it would be. Maybe I feel like I've seen a lot from Elliot. Maybe that's what it's gonna be. Oh, the choice is in chapter 4. Oh, got it. It's nice to meet you, sir. He had that bad boy look about him, but I guess he wasn't actually that bad. Not at all. He's charming. We like him. He's a gentleman. He gave us a ride home.
And he was good with our dad, you know? He was respectful. Okay, it's Ewan, Mark, and Elliot. Because you've chosen to interact with them specifically. Oh, I see. It was kind of disappointing. Someone wearing that much leather really should have more attitude. Real.
Thank you for giving her a ride.
I handed the helmet back to Ewan.
Seriously, I really appreciate it. I'll treat you to a coffee or something sometime.
Don't worry about it.
I guess I'll see you at school.
He nodded and put his helmet back on, waving once as he started the bike. And with that, he was gone. Dad and I watched him in silence for a moment. You're so not treating him to coffee. Ever.
Hey, he was nice enough to give me a ride. Saying of which, please let me, my horrible brother. Please tell me my horrible brother is grounded.
For a month at least. Real? Come on. You look like you're freezing. I'll make you some hot chocolate. Thanks, Dad. I snuggled into his side as we went in together. All in all, it wasn't a completely horrible ending to the day. And then, chapter 3. We're going to stop here, and we're going to continue with this tomorrow. Same time, same place. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to save my progress because we save games. Okay, y'all. Here's what we decided. These are our guesses for what kind of love interest these are, okay? The first guy that we talked to was Elliot. I think Elliot is... let's go to the main menu. Okay. I think Elliot is... Okay, Milky is swaying me. We're going to say new vampire for Elliot. Then we met Danny. And we're going werewolf. And then we met Marcus. Mark? I'm going to say old vampire. I say old vampire for Mark. Milky thinks that Mark is the Fae. I think he's old vampire. And then we met Corvin. I think Corvin is the wizard. And then we met... I feel like I'm missing one. We met motorcycle guy. What's his name again? Did he just say it? Did he just say his name? Ewan. I think Ewan is the Fae. Okay, that means I'm missing one, right? Oh, the brown-haired boy. I think he's the Esper. He is the reason we lost our lunch. How dare he? It's his fault. Okay, the next chapter is fun, says Ashberry. Elliot wants blood, says Artisan. So Artisan is on the Elliot is a new vampire train with us. Right? The new vampire, not the old vampire, right? Artisan. That's what we think. Those are our guesses. Next time, y'all, I have a feeling we're going to find out who is what kind of monster are they. I think we'll find out. That was so much fun. Listen, y'all, in one stream, we got through this. This is where we ended at the end last time. It took me 2 streams to get here because I kept getting distracted. I still got distracted a little bit today, but I was under control. And we actually made some really good headway. So that means next time is going to be all brand new content for Jitteru, because I haven't played this game before. I can't wait to find out what happens. And I can't wait to see if we are correct. What do I get if I'm right about these men and their supernatural tendencies? The type of monsters, creatures, and things that they are. If I'm right about them, what do I get? What do we wager? What does Rue get for being right and being a genius? That's what I want to know. Okay? If I'm wrong, what happens? What happens to me if I'm wrong? What do I get if I'm wrong, and what do I get if I'm right? Milky's like, oh God, here we go again. Stop. Personal satisfaction. Well, I guess it's better than a kick in the teeth. It's better than a punch in the gut. I'll take that. I guess I'll take that. But here's what I get, okay? If I'm right, I get to gloat. I get to gloat. If you are wrong, I get personal satisfaction. All right, fine. Banishment to Dog Snacks Dungeon to snacks the dogs. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. They want to brainwash me into like becoming a food dispenser. That's what the dogs want. They're like, dispense food all day, every day. That's all they want. That's all they want. Real. Okay, okay, Milky, I'm shaking hands. If I'm right, I gloat. Okay, I get to brag about it. If I'm wrong, then y'all can gloat and brag about how I was wrong. I think that's fair. Okay? All right? That's how you get chunky dogs, Artisan. It is how you get chunky dogs. That's true. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I know I sure did. If you like this sort of thing, if you like Otome games, visual novels, dating sims, all these types of things with romance in them, and maybe the occasional cozy game down the line, then give me a follow or a subscribe. Because guess what, stunners? We're going to do a whole lot more of this. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube and you're looking at this VOD later, then take a look at my channel, Jitteroon. Look at this video. Look at a video over here. Click on something. I'm gonna put something over here. Click on it. Clicky, clicky. So you could watch more. Many thanks to everyone who is here live. I love seeing you here, y'all radiant stunners. Thank you, Ashberry, for creating this amazing game, y'all. This is called Changeling, and it is an indie Otome game that came out several years ago by Steamberry Studios. You can buy it yourself and have your own experiences and make your own decisions. If you go on over to Steam, it's available. That's where I got it. I got this game on Steam. It's probably on itch too. I think I saw it on itch. So go get it. It's a great game. I'm having fun with it already. But come back and keep watching the stream, okay? Because we have a lot more fun to go from here.